Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly... What am I going to be? I'm going to be your friendly game master? Can't we do better than that? I am not your war master or your star master. I guess I'm going to be your, I don't know, far, far away master? I don't know. Because today we are playing a special one-shot return to a favorite we've had on this. We almost went an entire year without playing any Star Wars RPGs on the channel, and we have fortunately, thanks to these very, very generous and very patient players, we're going to be playing a session of Star Wars Saga Edition. And with me tonight are the stars of our one-shot here that we're calling The Whispering War. The order I've got you guys on the screen here, guys, which tells who you are, who you're playing, and what is your history with Star Wars Saga, I guess. And George, you can feel free to delve into more of your Star Wars history if you're so inclined. First up, we've got George.
Hey, I'm George. I'm playing Kiro Starskimmer, who is a level 5 human scoundrel. He's a pretty good pilot, but we'll just be honest that most of the reason he survives is that he's very lucky. I have played Saga Edition a few times over the course of its history since it was released. I played all the versions of Star Wars going back, and was lucky enough to work at West End Games on the Star Wars D6 version that started it all.
And George is also being very modest. So I will happily say that his force, what is it, the Knights of the Old Republic.
Jedi Companion.
Yes. George is the author of that, a super fucking cool manual for the West End Games, and something that has been reincorporated back into all the modern versions of it, the fan-made ones you can find on there. So, and with us as well is Andrew.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew.
And you thought for a moment, George, that you would be the nerdiest one here.
No. You're lucky I didn't show up in my Jedi costume with one of my several lightsabers.
I kind of like the Big Lebowski meets Jedi vibe you got going right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm playing Mondavanti. Anyway, I'm Andrew. I'm playing. Is it Mondavanti or Vanti or?
I've been saying Mondavanti, but it's
Vanti.
Star Wars, so you can name it whatever you want.
Mondavanti. That sounds good. I'm a level 5 Duro scoundrel. With his his droid R4T1, who he calls Rattle.
Nice. We also have another sidekick kind of droid as well too, who is a old, I think, is he repurposed a battle droid?
I think that's right.
Is that his thing?
Repurposed battle or repurposed assassination droid, maybe.
No,
not assassination. That head's all wrong for it.
Yeah. The illustration is actually from something non-Star Wars. It just fit a little better with the backstory that Arlen had come up with.
That's it. I'm out of here. What is this?
Yep, you're done.
So our session takes place, I guess, first off, if you're not familiar with the Star Wars Saga Edition, this is the final version of the Star Wars RPG released by Wizards of the Coast after they had made 2 other releases, and this is the one that came out before Fantasy Flight, the current license holder for, and maybe there's some corporate shenanigans going on with Fantasy Flight for where that actually lies right now, but the Fantasy Flight version is the most recent and in-print version at the time of recording. This is the final version, but I think that this particular game is Wizards of the Coast's most authoritative version of it, because they seem to design the entire line with an idea of what they needed to encapsulate before they kind of, washed their hands of it and lost the license, because it's a very once you've got everything for the line, it would be hard pressed, apart from stuff that came out in like the new trilogy or the Mandalorian or whatnot, but that stuff is very easily adaptable. And with the Mandalorian and other modern series reintroducing stuff from old canon, you can find a lot of that shit in these books, and that was current at the time. So it plays very much like Dungeons and Dragons. We've had the reason we're starting late for folks who are joining us live is because in part we were getting caught up, and in part we were talking about the mechanics behind this as well too. So you'll find that this is sort of a mid-step between Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 and the D20 system and the what would become the 4th edition of D&D. This is still much, much closer to the 3.5 version, but there are little elements like that. So, with that said, let's talk about what we're doing today. So, our adventure takes place, as I said last time, because this is not part of the Skywalker saga, I didn't have to write a crawl for this. And if you think that that's because, Kev, you forgot to fucking do one, well, I'd say that's probably true as well, but a stop clock can be right twice a day, so we don't have a crawl for this. But where this story takes place is, if you are following along in our Star Skimmer saga, this is the 4th session with Kiro Starskimmer, and this adventure takes place 6 months after our last session. Our last session ended with Kiro being introduced to a certain retired politician and ex-general, now returned general, and that would, of course, be... Whoop, my mouse is skipping around. General Leia Organa. Where our scene opens, and I guess I mentioned this before we went live, but for those listening at home, the story takes place about 31 years after the Battle of 32 years after the Battle of Yavin, and about 2 years or so before the events of Force Awakens. The time, the galaxy is at this time struggling with the growing pains and the failure of the new Republic to kind of meet up with the expectations of those and the promises of those who had helped throw off the shackles of the Empire, has left a fair amount of discontent. In addition, the rumors of the First Order, a fascistic bunch of Imperial remnants or former, devotees, that is a particular focus of the Resistance, and that is what our heroes have been part of. But our scene opens with first a sea of stars, or an ocean of stars, and then we see a small vessel fly overhead, and this vessel has the look of a disc that may have a handle on the side, and that, of course, keen viewers would recognize as the Lazy Bantha. And as camera pans down, we can see a planet, not like what we see here. I couldn't actually find a good one for this one, but it is mostly covered in the white clouds and gray and dark blue. It seems as though there is either an awful lot of dark-colored landmass or a lot of water with some very sparse islands. We then cut to the surface of this planet, and we see, get you guys here, where the Lazy Bantha is flying over. Move you guys down here. There we go. That'll never not amuse me. Having it look like row, row. I'm a child. The surface looks like this. There is water that is far below, but this appears to be almost like granite islands that have been jut out through this fog. You can hear the sound of crashing waves down below, but you can't see them. They're way, way down below. And the Lazy Bantha kind of navigates through some of this cloud, and then seemingly out of nowhere, we see a small landing zone that's on the top of one of these kind of granite pillars that jut out from the water way, way, way down below. There is lights that mark sort of the ring of this, and the Lazy Bantha, after making a pass, comes down and walking around on the... I don't think I've got a handout for this, but they are Ubezi. So they're wearing the what do you call it? The mask like Bosch, the bounty hunter. There's a bunch of them wearing basically environmental suits who are walking around as kind of a ground crew here. The Bantha is the only ship that has landed here, and we can tell that although the Ubezi are wearing their masks, this is safe to breathe because the landing platform to the Bantha comes down. And tell me if I've got this wrong, George, but Kiro strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't wait for the thing to finish going down, so we can see him walking down it as it's going. But he's also conscious enough of his image that he either like ducks right underneath the bit, or he times it perfectly in his speed so that it's just enough so he can drop down and look cool doing it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So we see Kiro. Why don't you tell us what does Kiro look like? What do we see?
He's got he kind of, is just down. He's not in any kind of uniform or something like that. He kind of looks like what you would assume would be a typical scoundrel, lots of cargo pant type outfit where he can store lots of stuff that he needs to carry, and he's of course got a blaster strapped to his hip, and his hand is not ever very far from the grip. So, and he kind of seems to have like a totally confident stride as he comes down, and then he accidentally trips a little bit, and then like rights himself and make sure no one noticed that, and keeps going down. Yeah.
We also see shortly behind you is Monda and Rattle. So why don't you tell us what do we see as Monda comes down? I'm assuming he's waiting because Rattle's going to need to have, a clear path off of this thing.
Yeah. Elevation outside of a ramp, it's Rattle's weakness.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
It's like Daleks and stairs.
Yeah, and I think maybe actually his like repulsor system on the bottom is actually broken, and I haven't gotten around to fixing it.
Yep.
Something that Rattle constantly tries to remind me of every time we're in exactly this situation. So I think Rattle's probably beeping at Monda in angry little like frustrated beeps, and I'm just kind of like groaning back and grunting about it. Like, yes, fine. I'm waiting on parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you guys, what you're going to have to do just to double check. You thought you heard something rattling when you dropped out of hyperspace. So you're just going to double check. What you're also doing is kind of that's your cover excuse because you're meeting with some less than savory types here. This isn't exactly a regular starport, and to that effect, you can also see positioned in the top turret there is your droid who seems to be, no lights are on him at this point, Gunner. But then you see kind of a little thing comes to life, and his hands kind of flex on the turret things. They don't move to give any indication to the Ubezi who are here that someone is, ready to open fire. But he's there if you need him.
And I think I say into my comm, like surreptitiously, Gunner, this time, do not start blasting until I tell you.
I think there is sort of you hear a chunk from the turret, and you all sort of look at all the Ubezi on the platform are like, what the? And it's not enough for them to think that it's moved. It just was a weird sound, but it's fucking Gunner screwing around with it.
Hey, totally. That's
okay.
Good.
So, Monda, you are off to the side while Kiro, you make your way across, and then through the haze, there is an Ubezi who only looks to be in charge because instead of the drab, browns or like tan color that a lot of the ones wearing the wearing the environmental suits are doing as they're sort of going around. This one is wearing something that is more of like a crimson with some yellow accents. So it's a very noticeable looking character. He walks up and I think he says something in like, but I think you actually speak Ubezi, don't you?
I believe I do.
I can't remember. I know you got the hand signals.
Yeah.
Yep, Ubezi, including Ubeninal sign language. Nice.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what we hear in the subtitles is Kiro Star Skimmer. I never thought I'd see the day. And Kiro, you're here to just pick up some cargo.
Yeah. So I look around like, what? What? Is that an insult? I'm not sure, but I'll take it as a compliment.
So he, do you say anything back to the Subezi, or?
Yeah, I mean, do I have a history that's really bad, like I tend to have, or with him,
with this guy?
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a? Why don't you tell us? So, do you think that this is just sort of like you run in the same circles, so that's why this guy's aware of you, or do you think that it's...
Yeah, I think we have crossed paths, I would say, because we run in the same circles, and I think he never thought I would make it this long.
Yeah, that's really...
I would have gotten myself killed along the way at some point, and or put in carbonite or something. So yeah, I think he kind of likes to give me a hard time, but he's a little bit impressed that I still survived.
Definitely impressed with this too. So what you have in one of your pockets is a little, like a fob that's going to have, it's like a hollow fob that has the sort of password, as it were. It's the like physical version of like, tell me, do the planes fly at dark or something like that.
Yeah, cool.
So he's
I will take it out and I will flip it up in my hands and I'll catch it and then bobble it a little and here we go. And then I'll show it to him, or await his
so
other.
Takes it in his leather, and you can hear the creak of the leather in his gloves as he grabs it, and then activates it. And what we see hovering there is this symbol.
Oh, jeez.
This is the symbol of the Kanji Club. And as it's sort of drifting around, he shakes his head. And it says, I never thought I'd see the day you'd be working for Kanji Club. I thought they wanted your head.
Oh, could go either way. So let's make sure this all goes very smoothly. How about that?
What you can see is you hear kind of a whoop, 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 and you can see from inside, there's a structure built into the side of this thing, and it's very well hidden. Like, unless you're on the level here, you would not see that in the depths of this cave, behind all this, like, these layers of granite, there's a big, like, metal, Jabba's palace door kind of thing has opened up, and there are 3 hover sleds that are being pushed forward by Moru Bezi that are filled with crates.
Great. Do I have does that look right to me? Do I think like that looks
Yep.
like that? Okay, great.
Yep. What do you say back to him? If anything.
I just let's just make sure this transfer is done as best as we can, as quickly as we can, so that nobody, maybe Contra Club, but nobody gets upset.
You can hear in your ear Gunner, who apparently has been listening in, saying, quick is better than dead, Kiro.
That's fair. And then...
and Obey says, what's fair?
I was talking to my... You know what? Just in general, life is fair. Life is fair. That's just meant life is fair.
He shakes his head.
Yeah, like this is why
there's a little bit of like
I'm
back and
alive.
forth. You can catch as well too. Like they're sort of while they're talking, they're signaling to each other in Ubinadal sign language, which you're able to pick up. And they're like, this fucking guy. If it wasn't for the Kanji Club, we could have taken this ship. And one of the other ones is like, we could still do that. And the other one responds with, and have Kanji Club come after us? Fuck no.
So, and I just said, hey, come on, guys, come on, relax, all right? Let's just, everybody just, we're all good here. We're on the same team, as much as that happens, sort of, maybe a bit. Anyway, let's get that stuff loaded onto there.
Why don't you give us a deception check? Let's see how well
Righty.
your overall presentation to this guy is.
Here we go. No modifiers. 21.
Ooh. He seems to be buying everything. And it's the one in the bright colors that seem to be defending you as well.
Okay, cool.
Now, I don't want to blow your minds too much here, guys, but you're not working for Kanji Club.
Shocking.
So knowing that you're not working for Kanji Club and that these guys were expecting Kanji Club to pick up this stuff, why don't you tell us what precautions you have put in place here in the event that things go sideways? Manda, we know you're outside purportedly for I heard something outside, but is there something you have prepared in the event that shit goes sideways? We know where Gunner is placed right now.
Probably. I just have pistols and stuff, so it's not like I'm some sniper that can watch over this exchange, but I've got a droid that could probably, if we had thought ahead and allowed Rattle to go off on his own before anyone arrived, maybe Rattle's off in a crowd somewhere and I have a little communicator that I can get Rattle to go behind them, and he can cause a distraction. He can't do much. He's, but he could, I don't know, some sort of noise or some sort of.
If I might add more kindling to the fire, as it were, this is a spaceport, albeit an unconventional one, which means there is a refueling station here.
Oh.
I have this. I'm on page 130 with explosives. So I was right.
Oh no! Oh no! I mean, hey, okay, we're back. We're well, not bad guys.
It's go big or go home, Manda.
I don't disagree.
Go big and go home. That's what it is. Go big and go home.
Totally. All right. So maybe I put a couple charges into Rattle.
Okay.
And he can go set them.
Sure.
And then GTFO.
Okay. Let's take a look at.
I don't want to sacrifice the droid, obviously.
So here's what we're going to do. Let's have Manda. Why don't you give us a. Why don't you give us a stealth check, please? DC is only going to be a 10. This is going to be aiding the.
I'm assuming on the character sheet, I assume I click the actual die button and not the word stealth.
I think so.
You know what?
Yeah.
I can just click it and find out what happens. How about that, Andrew?
Yep.
Do that.
The other's going to blow up.
Right.
Hey, your question first. The measure twice, cut once approach is never a bad approach. Much better than my, I shouldn't have cut that approach.
You probably fit in a lot better in this world then.
True.
Okay, so that's a great roll. So
I'm happy with it.
What I'm going to say is that, let's see here, where is the, not Droidica.
I mean, if you want to give us a Droidica, okay.
Here, Astromech. Okay, so why don't you give us now just a D20 plus 8 roll, please. This is going to be our Rattle's roll. Very good. Okay, so what we see, I guess, is as Manda, you're checking on, the. Maybe you're refueling or, checking on something under the undercarriage of this, keeping an eye on what is going on with Kiro. Rattle has rolled along, and we see, maybe like there's two big, what look like bits of machinery that can lower down into and be hidden in the granite pillars. And they're up right now. They look sort of like Transformers, but with big hooks or gaskets in them that you can kind of hook things up to recharge. Mm-hmm. And Rattle is sort of like rolling towards one, and then sort of we see him kind of like and turn around and hide behind a little pillar as two Obese walk past. And then we see his little like whoop, antenna thing goes up and whoop, whoop, down. And then he slips around back. And we can see, you know, that little hatch in front there opens up, and one charges down, and he starts going over. It seems like he's going to be able to place these charges.
I love him already.
Without anything.
So much. I will die for this droid.
Fantastic. So,
And yet you won't fix his repulsors.
No, absolutely not. That costs money.
That's right. Now I understand you.
And I don't have any credits because you don't get us jobs.
So
I keep falling through.
Sure.
While you guys are, so what's happening now is the your cargo platform sort of lowers down, or the cargo loader for the bantha is loaded. So they're putting the the cargo back onto the bantha and bringing it up inside. Kiro, what are you doing while this? Are you chit-chatting with what's his name? The bright Bothan? Not Bothan.
Yeah,
basically.
Yes, that's what I want to do to keep him, make sure he stays on my side and like not paying too much attention to what our droid is doing. I also had a question. Could I have prepared to bring some stun grenades?
Yes.
Have on me, because I don't, the explosions, if they're needed, are not meant to kill people. They're really all of this is not to create new enemies. I don't need more enemies. It's to get out of here. So I'd love to have a couple of the stun grenades in my pockets, hidden in my pocket. So I'm like slowly, inching my hand like into one pocket casually.
Yep.
As we're having this conversation, but otherwise I'm trying to just keep him distracted as possible while this transfer takes place.
So he leans in and says, what? And we see the translation as, tell me, did that thing with Iso the Hutt go down as they say?
Depends on what they say.
And the translation is, I heard that you stole a prisoner from under his nose and got away from the First Order and the Kanji Club.
Oh, that's an interesting rumor. That kind of rings a bell. Rings a bell a bit. Yeah.
Would you mind giving us a perception check?
Alrighty. Here we go. Modifiers. Okay. I'm gonna start. We've got meta currency, so yes. I'm gonna spend a force point.
Okay.
To roll another d6. Here we go.
Okay. Nice.
4.
19.
Right.
Okay. So he, the way he's asking you about that, like this is, I bring it up only because it represents sort of a shift in his conversation with you, and you realize that like, the Ubezi are sort of known to be hunters, right? And that carries over. You're fluent with their language as well. There's an odd, like, cultural practice of baiting and sort of like evading in conversation. The art of hiding secrets from each other and trying to reveal them, advertently or inadvertently, to flush out the prey, as it were, is a sort of prized tradition. And it also reflects they have two languages and often have more than one conversation going on at once. This is what seems to be going on right now. And you made a reference to before, like, oh, let's get along. Did you make it clear that you understood the Ubezi sign language, or?
Yes.
You did. Okay, so then he wouldn't be using it unless you're talking to him, it's one thing out loud and then another thing as you're gesturing.
I think I said out loud to all of those guys so that they knew that I knew.
Yeah.
Not saying this was a good idea, but this was his strategy.
So his conversation with you then is a mix of out loud, oral, Ubezi, and the Ubidinal sign language. Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this. So I try to make eye contact with Manda.
Yep.
And try to catch his eyes. He's, and at some point, hopefully when I do, I'm gonna give him like a signal that we had previously figured out to, when things are starting to like look like they're going south, to like be on alert.
Okay.
So I'm just going to sort of like do that once I see that he sees me, and then I'll continue the conversation.
Okay. So Monda, you're tightening something up. You see this, and then you look over and you can see Rattle is just making a beeline back for the ramp to get back onto the Lazy Bantha.
Okay, so I know that Rattle's mission was a success.
Yep.
I will, while I still have Kiro's eye, I will respond with. I imagine we don't have too many like prearranged gestures here, but it seems reasonable to me that we would have one for like. So I've clearly understood that he says don't go yet, don't do it yet, but I will basically give him the sign to let him know that we are good to go whenever he needs it. I'll just click a button.
So normally the thing, and this is something we established in the last session,
if that's okay.
Yeah, you can. The thing is that you guys all communicate using Openanal sign language.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So then, what do you think the odds are of us having developed some sort of other?
I think you could just say like it's if Kiro has already said that he knows it too, it may not be surprising for him to know that the crew knows the same thing as well.
So maybe we won't. That doesn't work.
But
if I saw R4 go back to the ship, I assume that means that he's done what he's supposed to do.
That's fair. Because had there been a problem, Rattle would have told me, and I would have sent you a different signal of like, no, we're no good, we're no good, and he wouldn't have come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you also, I think, like if you're communicating with Kiro in like across the platform, and your message is we're good to go. You were just getting the ship ready as well too. There's no wrong context with that either.
True, and the only reason that Hero understands that as different is because of our thing, but contextually it would make no difference. I could just simply like finish ratcheting and then boom, boom, hit it twice, and he knows 2 booms for boom, boom, and 1 boom for keep stalling.
Yeah.
Good. Yep, I like it.
Okay. So as the last of the cargo, this whole process only takes about 20 minutes. Getting done. Kiro, keep kind of looking up into the fog, and you can't see. It's like you can see in the photo here. Like you can't really see much high above. And would you? Let me make a roll for this guy.
Okay.
Would you give us one more deception check, please?
Deception. Okay. No modifiers.
Holy smokes! Yep. Okay, so he is none the wiser. Well, and then once this is finished up, you guys are getting, the Rattles inside. The cargo platform has gone up again, so it's just the landing ramp. And the brightly colored Ubazi turns and says, what would he say to you? He'll say, which in the translation says, a pleasure for the first time, Kiro. And then the what do you call it? The gesture he makes as well says maybe a little something on the side next time.
And I say, you know what? The pleasure is all yours. See you next time.
So you turn and you're about 5 steps away from the platform.
Yeah.
When you can hear the sound of engines above, and you stop, you look back, and you can see that the brightly colored Ubazi is kind of like taking a message. And then all of them turn and are looking at you, and you know precisely what that means.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Initiative. Oh, I'm gonna be chucking a stun grenade at them, and then trying to book it on up the ramp.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. Now, do you have a stun grenade on your character sheet?
You know what? I don't think I do. No.
Okay, that is no problem.
It's a simple simple ranged weapon.
It depends on you want to deploy it. So stun grenade.
True.
Yep. So it's So it'll be your base attack plus your dexterity.
Yeah. So it looks like my. All right, I'm just gonna instead of. I'm debating whether. All right, I'm just gonna put it in. Stone grenade.
And I think it's a
Okay, so
5 is what you need to hit the like sort of the area right where they are.
Oh yeah, and Dex, and does it have my base attack in there?
Does 4d6 stun damage?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if this works. I actually have a +1 because of one of my feats.
Nice.
So I'll add that in there, and hopefully I have done this correctly.
Look at that. Holy smokes. All right,
Yeah.
so you toss this, and it goes off. The, like, 4 of them who are all standing sort of in the same area all drop to the ground, and then it's only the one in the brightly colored uniform is going like, oh, beginning to get up. Gunner asks over things, time to shoot?
And I, yes. Like the one time I didn't want you to wait to listen to me.
Okay.
And I'm like running up the ramp or however much I can move.
Sure, yeah. So you are running up the ramp. Monda, this was just before departure. Where do you think you were? And where's Rattle?
Just before depart, well, Rattle made his way inside the lazy bantha.
Yep.
I probably would have held out on the ramp waiting for Kiro to get back just to provide some cover if necessary.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer before pulling the trap. I know we're right before departure, but I want them to be trying to get to their, I don't know. I think, waiting until they're actually trying to get to their ships and then do it might affect them more. I don't know.
So you race inside. Now, did I not load this thing in here?
Or, you know what? No. I think it'd be this is way more badass.
Okay.
Hero runs inside. I'm holding on to the hydraulic system of the ramp, watching the Ubizi come running after us.
Yeah.
I with cold red eyes and my teal skin, I just kind of look at them and a sly grin with a twig out the side of my tooth.
Okay.
I just spit it out and pull up a little device and push a button. And then turn and walk back inside.
Huge explosions light up. So, Kiro, you've leapt into the seat, and you're getting the bantha up and ready to go. You can hear from up top where Gunner's blasters are going off. And you can see in the sort of holo display next to you, there are 2 Kanji Club ships.
Yep.
That have arrived.
That's what I figured.
Okay. Let me get this token set up, and we'll see if you guys can get away. I mean, I'm sure you guys are fine. Okay, let's do this here.
I don't know. You had a TPK last night, so...
I am not. It's one TPK a weekend has been my average the last couple of weekends. So hopefully,
let's not go for 2 then.
We've already got one under our belt,
record.
so we're good. Okay.
It wouldn't be your fault. It would be us. Yeah.
It's a little bit my fault. Okay, so let's see here. Put this down here. Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, Kanji Club ship. There we go. I think you guys can see the red bar, blue bar.
Yep.
Right, awesome. So I'll put one on either side here. The lazy bantha in the middle. Okay, so illuminated by these explosions, 2 of these things go by, and you can see they're firing their blasters as well. Now, guys, let's roll some initiative. So we're going to go on to the... let's just quickly talk about the Starship Combat, because we have not used this yet at the table. So when we are getting into Starship Combat, you each will want to be figuring out what role that you want to play on the ship. So one person can be a pilot, We can also have a co-pilot. One person, or sorry, up to 2 people on the Bantha can be gunners, because there are blasters on, there's laser cannons on top, laser cannons on the bottom. You can have a commander, which you don't have enough people for that. Systems operator, which would be the person who reestablishes the shields. I did put together that. Oh, I didn't link this in the video, but I'll load and link. I've got a handout for Starship Combat that I put together for this session. So the sensor operator is another person, and then there's the engineer as well. You can, at the start of your round, switch your role and immediately start doing something different. It's very, supposed to be sort of narrative focused in this, and we can do initiative all as one ship, or we can do individual initiative. What would you guys prefer to do? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do the Kanji Clip ships just on one, but the characters who are... Well, I gave you guys the stats for the Astromech, right, from before?
No.
No, that's their bonus, though. The skills, or did I not? Let's assume I didn't.
Yeah, I don't see...
Okay, here we go. So what the relevant skills for your droid, if you want to try and make best use of him. Gunner is a breaker, not a builder, so obviously you know what he's going to be good at. For Rattle has a plus 13 use computer and a plus 13 mechanics.
Wow.
Mechanics is used for... actually, Monda, you're the one who needs to do that to jury rig.
Okay, yeah.
But that's something that's a sort of a bridge you cross when things are really bad. So, am I correct in thinking that Kiro is going to be our pilot?
I think that makes the most sense with my skills and talents.
Okay, so we got Gunner on one of the top things. Monda, what are you running to now? You are capable, because you've got vehicular combat as a feat. You're proficient with vehicle weapons as well too. Which means that you can. You're a capable gunner. You're also a great systems operator because of your great computer skill, and you're also a good engineer because you're great mechanic skill. So
right, yeah, I got that fast repair. I want to definitely be in a position where I can go in and quickly do repairs if I need to.
You can just start of your round. You can decide to switch to what you are. So it's really just a matter of you deciding what you want to be doing this round.
Yeah. Well, if he's going to be piloting, that kind of cancels that out. So I'll grab whatever gun is not currently operating and then use that.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think it's the ventral gun is the one that you'll be in. So then, well, you know what? Because of the Lazy Bantha sheet, I don't need to have extra sheets open. Why don't we do this? Let's...
Because I can operate that gun off of the Lazy Bantha's character sheet, right?
Yes, you can.
So if I switch Monda from engineer to gunner, is that gonna?
So he's already got. He's in the. Monda is in one of the.
Yeah, he's down here on the list as an engineer. If I switch engineer to his station to gunner, is that?
I don't know. Let's see what happens here. We've got him added in as a gunner already.
Oh, okay.
See, like he's the bottom turret has Monda on it. The top turret has gunner on it.
Oh, I was looking under crew assignment. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at crew assignments too. What is the?
So on the left-hand side under weapons.
Left hand, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, does it make it?
Oh, I lost
Andrew as well too.
Okay.
Oh, slicers. Ooh, Basie slicers.
That's right. We're doomed already. So I would just say, and I'll make sure Andrew's okay with this, but I think we should also do a single initiative roll for our side, just to make it
and then just
easy.
pick which order
and
you
then we
want
can
to work
be in. Yeah, well, that way we can do things in tandem too.
So I think does the Bantha have an initiative listed on it?
Well, that's what I was just looking for. I'm not seeing it, but I could be missing it.
It does not. So I think that comes from the crew. While we're waiting for Andrew to get back here.
Yeah, and they're under the crew assignments. There are initiative is listed
Yeah, because initiative is a skill in Saga Edition. So you actually just right, because there's not, you don't have, you're either trained in a skill or not trained in a skill in Saga. So
yeah. So would we just use the initiative?
Yeah, use your initiative. So watch, click on the Lazy Bantha token, and then just click on initiative.
Okay.
Let's see if that works.
No modifiers.
19.
Did that add us?
Did not.
Oh, no. Huh. Interesting.
Okay. Let's see here. It's probably because of the way the tokens are set up for the Bantha, or for the starships. Yeah, I lost Andrew in, what do you call it as well? Mo had a complete computer crash this morning as well. Okay, so I got a 13 for the Kanji Clip ships. So,
okay,
you're descending. All right, so what I'm going to assume is we'll wait for Andrew to get back to fully.
Yeah, I mean, I can already tell you that my Akiro's objective is to take off.
Yeah, and so what this, what I was going to say is there is something you can do. Now, one of the, you can obviously try and outrun these guys. They outgun you with the combined amounts that are here. With the two ships, they are more heavily armored, or more heavily armed for like piracy or outright combat, as opposed to the Lazy Bantha. However, they're a little clumsier than the Bantha. Bantha may not look it, but she handles pretty well. All these pillars around you and that hidden thing, you can weave your way through that. Now, the obvious threat with that is that you could have a collision. But if they want to follow you, they're going to have to go down in there to keep track of you. And what you're able to do, because you are the one who's in the lead, you can pick the difficulty of the piloting check.
Oh, I see.
So depending on how hard and you want to make it for them to follow you, that will be how hard it is for them to follow. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is give you an enormous amount of cover if you decide to go down there. So to give you a judge of what these are, this can go from a piloting check of DC 15, which on a failure, the collision does 4d6 plus 20, up to a piloting check of 35, where it does 8d6 plus 40.
Wow, okay. Okay.
So but that's just one option. You can also try to do any of the other things like dogfighting or...
No, I like that idea a lot, and I think I'm going to start out... I need to ease into this too. So I'm going to start out with a 15 and just work my way up depending on how that seems to be going and how good or bad they are at keeping up with me.
Okay.
So that is my
Discord. Let's see what Andrew says. I just saw a message coming in. Hey, Spike Pit. May the force be with you too. Colin's in chat.
Yeah, hey, Colin.
Let's see here. Oh, no, it's not Andrew. It's Mo was asking about the USB hub. Mo, I'm not sure if you're watching. I'll get back to you about that. The one I've got right now, I'm quite happy with. I got a replacement for the that one that crapped out.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, what a pain that we actually had to cancel a session last week on account of that.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. Yup. All right, so while we're waiting for him, I think let's make your rolls here.
So I'm going to start with the DC 15. So I'm going to kind of look for, a spot where these pillars are not that difficult to navigate through. That's the speeds that we're traveling.
Yeah, this will be your move action. Just like in normal combat, you've also got free action to do a standard, a move, and a swift action.
Okay, so doing this as a move, I still have a standard action.
Correct.
Then I feel like I need to get us out of here. Like this is all on me. Obviously, they're after me. So I'm going to use my standard action to engage my Fool's Luck talent. Then,
nice.
Which means I spend a force point, and I will choose to take +5 luck bonus on skill checks.
Nice. So +5 on these things. So you said DC 15 is what you're going for first?
That's right.
All right, so go ahead and give us a piloting check using the Lazy Bantha.
Yeah. All right, here we go. And I'm going to add 5 to that.
Yes, 5 to the result.
There we go.
Go. Easy.
24. Okay, great.
Wow. All right. And these two, let's see here. So that's your standard that you've done. Your Swift. Is Gunner shooting at these guys?
Yeah, of course, yes.
So
He's shooting anybody he can shoot
right
at.
now. So let's make your attack roll. Go ahead and make an attack roll with Gunner's thing here.
Alrighty, here we go.
Their reflexes is a 17, and there's going to be plus 5 for cover, so it's 23 is what he needs.
Okay, here we go.
Is that a nat 1?
Nat 1. Yep.
So he's firing away, and there's just rocks that are falling down. I guess they're a little faster than what you are. So he's firing up ahead, and you're like, "What are you doing?" Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Point at the other ships.
So the rocks are falling down around you. Why don't you give us one more of those piloting checks to avoid the falling rocks?
Here we go. Oh man, I'm glad I spent that force point.
Easy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Monda, when Andrew gets back, Monda will have an action, and then the Rattle will have an action if they want. But I'm going to take one of them is going to try and follow you down. It's going to try and move first. So you said DC 15?
That's right.
Okay, so their bonus to piloting is a plus 5.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to get a sense of like how good they are. So
that was a 4.
Ooh.
So that's not going to work. They will be taking. Let's see here. Why don't you give us an 8d6 plus 20 roll, please?
Okay. 44.
Nice. All right. So then,
Jeez.
First thing is their shields are going to go down by 5.
Was it 8d6 for the DC 15 or was it 4d6?
4d6.
46. So I rolled 8d6. So
okay. Well, go ahead and give us a roll.
Yeah, 4d6 plus 20.
Yeah. Oh, and I need the DR for this guy as well.
39.
10.
Wow, not that much different.
That's a pretty great roll.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. So the DR is 10. All right, so that means 39. They only have 35, which means some of it's actually getting through. You can see their deflector shields are beginning to collapse. Awesome. Then they get a standard action. And the pilot is going to fire the pilot mounted weapons on him at you. Okay. And he gets plus 2 because it's a pilot mounted weapon and it's a pilot firing it. So plus, however, to give you an example, plus 6 to hit. What is the Lazy Bantha's reflexes?
Reflexes are 19 total.
19 total. So I need a 13 or higher to hit. I rolled a 10. So firing past you. Their gunner will open fire as well.
Okay.
10. That's 14. Okay. A little closer that time. And then seeing how well his buddy did, I think the other one is going to do the same. They're going to try and follow you down in there. So first a piloting check. That's a 16 on the nose.
Yeah, before their plus 4, so that would hit me.
No, this is to maneuver down to avoid the.
To maneuver down. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so they're in a nearby, kind of like maybe a little bit lower than what the other one is. Okay. And they will fire at you as well. Because he's lower, I'm not going to let the pilots. I guess angle up a little bit and shoot at you. Let's try. That's a miss as well. And then the final shot from the thing. 15 in total, so I have missed altogether. All right. Then it is.
I am feeling cocky now, so this is not good.
That's great. What are you thinking now?
I'm gonna go with DC 20. That's what I'm thinking.
Hell yes. So DC 25. DC 25 is 6d6.
25. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this is your move action.
Alrighty, here we go. It's my piloting check. Come on. No. I will.
That does not include your plus 5, though, does it?
It does. I already put it in there.
Oh,
I rolled a 5. I will spend. I guess I'll spend a force point.
To roll 1d6.
Man, I have to roll a 6 though, so it's not even worth it. We'll just take the damage. See, I told you this wasn't good.
Well, you could spend a destiny point and automatically treat it as a critical.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I don't want to die immediately. So,
What happened? Second round of Starship Combat, I crashed the ship.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Aren't you a skilled pilot? Supposedly. All right. So I'm down to 1 destiny point.
Okay.
So I'll score a crit, and I will I'm heading right at a pillar, and I'm turning back to Amanda. I'm like, I totally got this. Oh.
Yeah, watch this. There's 2 of them sticking up that you just narrowly kind of skip through. Gunner is trying to fire out, and then it's like, boom, the gun is hit down as it clips the top. You still have a standard action as well, too.
Okay, I'd like to. Can I fly defensively as a standard
Absolutely.
action?
If you fly defensively and let Gunner attack, Gunner gets a -5 to his attack rolls, but you gain a +5 to your reflex defense.
Yeah, let's do that. There's 2 of them and 1 of us. So.
Okay, so your reflex will count as 5 higher. Gunner can make an attack though. He's just got -5 to hit.
Okay, let's see. There he is. -5. My Gunner. The same roll, just not a crit. Not 1.
Wait, why is that only? Oh, because he's got -5. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So he's firing away, and the shots are peppering the sides of the walls, but not.
Yeah, clearly because I'm twisting and turning the ship.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "What are you doing?"
All right. So then, for them, so you set the difficulty at 25, right?
That's right.
All right. So let's see your first one. So their piloting is a +5. Oh no! I rolled a 2.
Oh, awesome.
Go ahead and roll 6d6 plus 30. Please.
Oh, 6d6 plus 30. Go. 48.
48. All right, so that means 28 gets through, which means 38 total. And their shields. Wow. Oh, and 38. 38. Where is it here? You're getting close to their threshold.
Oh, awesome.
Which means that they're... Oh, no, shit. That was supposed to be 15, not -15. All right, so that one slams into his side and kind of manages to reorient itself a bit. Nat 1 for the other one.
Oh, shit.
So I'm actually going to treat that as a critical hit from you, so go ahead and roll 8... What is it? 12d6 plus 60.
That's insane. Here we go. 104.
All right, so we got -25 from the thing, which leaves 79, and then 69 left. Holy smokes, that gets through. So that hits a threshold. Sparks and smoke are flying out of the back of this thing right now as it's trying to fly along.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And update from Andrew, he lost power in his house. He's trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's... Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it could have been the block, too. They're not having storms out east, are they?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
Good question.
Typical Westerners, right? We're just like, I don't give a shit what happened.
The what? There's an east? I'm from the east, though, so I feel like I can get away with it. So I think I know what my strategy is going to be, and hopefully, I don't have to spend more destiny points to make it work. But
well, so as these guys are banged up, they still get their standard. That was only their move action.
Right, that's right. They get to attack me.
So the one with the smoke going out of it, because it's got -1 to all of its actions now. First, the pilot's going to try and shoot you.
Okay.
And this is how much of a child. I actually did the little gesture off camera of firing.
I think you have to. It's
obligatory. Absolutely. All right. 18. It's 23 total. What is your reflexes right now?
So normally it'd be 19, but it's a 24, correct? Because I'm flying defensively.
Wow. So thanks to your defensive maneuvers, just barely misses you. All right, that means the next one I need well, he's at -1, so I need 18 to hit you as well. So this is the turret. Nope. Flying. Around you, the blaster bolts are flying, and then the other one, the pilot, nope. The others, nope. So they're, because of your maneuvers, they're firing. All these shots are going all around you. That is
awesome.
It. All right, now it's Kiro's turn again. What are you doing?
So my understanding of what this situation is that I can continue flying through these pillars.
Yep.
Or I could like venture out and start to take off into the sky.
Yep.
And at some point, is it possible that if I kept going straight, I will run out of pillars?
This planet is like, I mean, for the purpose of this scene, there's going to be enough of this difficult terrain for you. You'd always like wind back through the same thing.
Right. So, okay, great. So that is what. So I'm going to continue with that for now. So I'll stay in the 25 DC range.
Okay.
So as this is my move. Here we go.
Come on.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay. I make that, and then my standard is going to be to fly defensively.
Okay, so again, wow, go ahead and make your attack with Gunner.
Okay, he's at a -5. Here we go.
That's another nat one.
I feel like if I can make a suggestion, something must go wrong, and we need R4 to start using his computer skills or something to figure out like how to solve the fire that just burst out, or
I think that the targeting sensor is completely screwed up on the thing, and Gunner's like, fix this fucking thing.
Yeah, that's great. That's obviously the reason he's missing.
Yeah, of course. It's a poor craftsman who blames his ship-mounted laser cannons. So then it is Kanji Club's turn. All right, so DC 25, you said?
Correct.
They're going to try it one more time.
All right.
Because these guys, they do not like you.
It's understandable.
Holy shit. I rolled a 19 for one of them.
Nice.
It's still not good enough. They only have a +5. So
they need a 20? Oh, shit.
A 16 from the other one, but they both. So go ahead and give us a 66 plus 30 for the first one.
Here we go. 46.
46, holy smokes. That brings it down to 34, or 31, 21, all right? Here we go. And the shields are down 10.
Nice.
All right, and go ahead and roll damage for the second one.
56.
Holy shit. All right, so that becomes 36 with shields, and then 26 damage. Here we go. Let's see here, minus 26. I think they are going to be, yeah. All right. Awesome. So this is not proving to be a very sound strategy for them. They once again need, you know what's going to happen is one of them is actually going to try and aid the other one. So they're going to need covering fire. One of them is making an attack roll against an AC 15. Flat 15, so it was firing ahead of you, and now the turret has +2 to hit. So I only need an 18 to hit you now.
Okay.
Miss. The other one is going to adopt the same strategy. Misses its aid, so now I need a 20 to get you. A nat 1 instead.
Oh, shit.
They're firing around you and just can't seem to get themselves in with you. So, and the thing is, they are a faster ship, though. That's part of the reason why you're down. If you're like you can use your piloting tech to try and increase your speed, and you would know this. Oh, they have a flying speed of 4 squares in what do you call it in Starship scale, and you have a scale, I believe, a speed of 3.
Let's see. Speed. Scale 3. Shield rating. Obviously, it's here, and I'm not seeing it.
Let's see. The speed will be. Let me see here. Come here,
speed. Oh, Starship scale speed 3.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Character scale 12. Okay, so then it is
So yeah, and I think here and my strategy is going to be to do this one more time and see if they follow me. The second they stop following me, then I'm gonna, instead of flying defensively, I'm gonna try to increase my speed to like rocket into the sky and try to get away from them. But for now, I'm gonna try one more time.
Yeah, let's see here.
So yeah, Andrew said not coming back on.
Increased speed is a swift action, actually.
Really?
Yep. You make if you're training, you have to be trained in piloting. You make a DC 20 piloting check as a swift action to push your vehicle beyond its normal limits. If the check fails, you take damage. If you succeed, you increase the speed by 1 square until the start of your next turn. And for every 5 points you beat that, you increase it 1 additional square.
All right, I'm obviously feeling, overconfident. So I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to,
Love it.
Go for a DC 25 for my move. I'm going to use a swift action to try to fly faster. I'm going to fly defensively for my standard.
Okay, sounds good.
So here we go with the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The maneuvering thing is what you're thinking first.
Well, first I'm going to do the maneuvering thing. Yes.
Yep.
See if we take any damage. Go. Oh, I do. I don't want to use a destiny point because I only have 1 left. Yep. So I see, this is what happens. Overconfident.
You want to try a force point?
Take some damage.
That is why they put 6s on those dice.
I know. No, I feel like it's better in a different point. If we take a little bit of damage, we take a little bit of damage.
Okay. So let's make room. Anna Banana has just joined us.
Okay. Oh, hey, Anna.
Hi, Goober. What's up? What's up? You helping? Thank you. Okay. Oh, no, don't lick him. These things are out of print, honey.
Yeah.
All right. So then...
so I need to take
more awkward.
66 plus... Should I roll my own damage?
Yes, why don't you roll your damage? Yeah. The
Just
damage
there's so
will
many
be
dice.
66 plus 30.
43.
Ooh. So, fortunately, you've got some great shields. What is the DR of the Lazy Bantha?
15.
15, let me put that in there. Okay, so the way this works is that for your shields block, there's like DR, but every time that they're pierced, they go down by 5. And then the sensor operator or the systems operator can spend 3 swift actions to make a mechanics check to try and restore 5 points to it every round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 30... actually, that doesn't even get through. It gets through the shields, but does not get through. So this is the proverbial, antennae flying off in the Death Star.
Awesome. Okay. And so my shields go back down by 5, but I don't take any actual real damage.
No actual damage to the hull. No.
Okay.
And that's thanks to your DR because you subtract your damage reduction from the damage always.
I feel like that was the right move to let that thing fly. Never liked that thing anyway. Then I'm gonna try.
Gunner's targeting reticle gets back in the right spot. Now it's like
perfect. I will then make my next piloting roll to try to increase the speed.
Yep. So it's only DC 20.
Yes. So come on. 26.
Holy shit. And because you beat it by 5, that means you're increasing it by 2, which means
by 2.
The Bantha is faster than the both of the Kanji Club ships.
Okay.
And
that is just for this turn, correct? Each turn I have to...
Yeah, each turn you make a roll again. Yeah,
got it. Okay,
it's a pretty cool thing. Like, there's a lot of opportunities to be rolling the dice where there's, shit can be affected by force points, or there can be like those turn of events or turn of luck that you like seeing in Star Wars stuff.
Totally, and I like that there's some things that are swift actions because then you can be doing multiple things in the same turn.
Exactly,
which is great.
And it feels because I think the pilot in particular in a lot of other iterations of Star Wars, you're kind of just making piloting checks, or you're trying to set up that one thing, right? I'm thinking more of Fantasy Flight just because that's the one I'm the most familiar with, but the gunners seem to have all the fun in that,
Yeah. Totally.
Speaking of Gunner having fun, let's see if he actually can do that this time. So,
okay. Well, I've still got him at a -5 here, so
yeah,
because I'm flying defensively. So let's see.
Come on, Gunner. Jesus Christ! Has he rolled higher than an 8?
I don't think so.
She hasn't even got in the neighborhood of.
We need Ireland in person. That's what we. Yeah. That's what we need. Otherwise, Gunner doesn't really know how to operate properly.
Jeez, yeah. I think he's blaming Kuro's. There's some serious shit talk in binary that's happening right now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I'm used to it.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so then we so on the Kanji Club turn. So for theirs, all right, honey, please stop biting my hand. Thank you. Next, what they're gonna do is.
Whatever.
That was her. That's the you're not paying enough attention to me, like whiny yawn. All right. Okay, so what they are going to do is pull the fuck out of here. So they're going to spend a move action to sort of get themselves out of this terrain, and I think they're going to have to spend another move action instead of their standard, just trying to catch up to you.
Yeah.
So DC 20, they need to squeeze one extra. Nat 20 for one of them.
Ooh, okay.
So you're sort of like, fell, and you look up, you're like, shit.
Yeah.
They can't shoot you though because of where their turret's positioned.
Okay.
And actually, like technically, that's not something that occurs in Saga. I'm just choosing to implement that, but there's not facing is not a thing with starships in Saga Edition. Okay, the other one that's down below, he's going to pull up as well, and likewise try and catch up. Let's see here.
Okay.
No. So the other one is drifting behind. I'm going to put him back. You've effectively outpaced the one. It's just the other one now that you need to escape.
Okay.
Ooh. No, I can't. I have one other trick I can pull, but the pilot has to do it, and the pilot's used up all his actions. So it is the Lazy Bantha's turn. What are you doing?
Okay, so no point in staying down here among the pillars at this point. So first, I'm going to do a swift action to try to increase my speed, or continue to increase my speed, more appropriately. Oops, I'm opening Kiro's instead of Lazy Bantha. Here we go. Piloting check. Come on, 33.
Holy shit! So that is 10 over. So your speed is now 5 squares, right?
Well, it's 1 for the 20, and then for every 5, right?
Yep. So 6 in total. All right, so wow, we see you just it disrupts the mist is sort of like blown aside as you take off into the air.
My standard will be flying defensively.
Okay.
Because don't want to get hit when we have a chance to start getting away.
Yeah. Okay, so then the one Kanji Club ship left, you're going to be further away now. I'm going to check the range.
Can Gunner try to take a pot shot?
Oh, yes, he can, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
So there we go, -5.
Come on. Getting a little closer.
Oh my god, all the 5.
Holy smoke, he's really not living up to his name here.
No.
Check very carefully. If you'll take a look on the character sheet, it's very hard to see, but is there a toggle where you've put on Stormtrooper?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, Stormtrooper marksmanship.
Yeah, I'm gonna uncheck that.
Got it, Kate. Okay, good. This game is nothing if not loyal to genre simulation. All right, so then the Kanji Club ship that is atop, it sees you go out, and one of the guys kind of yells up in Huttese, because that is the language that they speak. And then woof, the ship rears up. Let's see if it can make a swift action to try and speed up. It can. So it's keeping pace with you. Then the move action will be to move after you, and then the standard action is going to open fire with its guns. Let's see if we can get it. No, misses with that. Then the gunner. Let's see here. Oh, it hits. Okay. So then I need to roll. Let's see here. The damage for the things are. Whoo boy. Okay, your roll 5d10 times 2.
Wow.
I just threw dice at my head.
I guess it doesn't do
so I'll multiply this by 2. So that is 54 damage.
Yeah. Okay.
So then so let's think here. 54 means 25 is stopped by the shields, which brings it down to 29. And then 15 more is stopped by the damage reduction, so your hull takes 14 damage.
Okay.
Oh, not to 14. Sorry.
And I'm lowering the shields here to 20.
Great. Okay. So yeah, this it manages to connect, and then we see inside there the one of the Kanji Club who's wearing like glasses and a helmet on there, and it's like Baskapoodle hits something, and you see what unspools underneath is a proton torpedo. Fires out at you. It misses on its initial attack.
Okay.
But it gets to seek.
Oh, man.
Okay. Then it is Lazy Bantha's turn. What are you doing?
I feel like I've got to continue flying defensively, because if we get hit by that and then maybe they hit us twice more with their turret guns, it could be really bad.
Yep.
So I'm going to use my standard to do that.
Okay.
I'm continuing to head toward the stratosphere so I can eventually get to space.
Okay.
And I will use my swift action then to try to increase my speed.
Okay.
Fly faster.
Sounds good. Give us your swift action.
There we go.
Roll here.
Pilot. No, I missed. That's not good, but I will use a force point this time.
Okay.
Because that's a possibility.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Come on, force point.
That's just enough.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, so you are now moving at 4, which is the same speed as the Kanji Club, so they're going to need to speed up if they want to overtake you. You have standard action, or you're flying defensively.
Flying defensively, yeah.
Okay, and then you're moving towards the area. Okay, go ahead and make a shot with Gunner.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, that helped, unchecking the Stormtrooper accuracy.
That definitely helped. Now, are we missing any bonuses here?
Well, no, because I'm at a minus. I don't think so. It's because I'm at a -5. He's operating
right,
at a -5. That really
right.
is impacting him.
Yeah.
So otherwise, it would have been a 20.
Okay, so yeah, you're firing down, and it is just not. It's very close. But this thing moves aside. Why don't you give us an attack from Monda as well?
Okay. Here we go. Monda also had a -5. Here we go.
No. Okay.
I'm basically precluding either of them from actually hitting.
Yeah. It's cool to know though that that's the trade-off, right? That it means.
Yeah, it is impactful on both sides.
Definitely.
It has come into play.
So the let's see here. Then if that's everybody, it is. R4 could make a. Where is it here?
And to be fair, if we had PCs, they would have force points, destiny points, other things they could be doing to overcome some of that. So.
Actually, and Gunner technically has force points. You want to roll a D6 for a force point?
Yeah, why not?
64 damage is pretty good.
It's pretty awesome.
Good chunk of change. Are you kidding?
The force is not with Gunner. No. That is the problem.
We got greedy.
That's right.
Flew too close to the sun there, Gunner. All right, then let's see here. Next will be R4. Why don't you give us a 1d20 plus 13 check? Plus 15 check, because he's also got tools.
Plus 15. Okay.
On a 20, it'll restore 5 to your shields.
Okay, yes, great. There we go. 26.
Yep. Nice. So go ahead and add 5 back to your shields.
All righty.
He's recycling them.
There we go.
And then it is the Kanji Club's turn. All right, so once again, they're actually going to try and overtake you. So we'll do a swift action to try and pilot here. 17 is 22. They're almost right on top of you at this point. I make a second attack for the proton torpedo. Nat 20.
Okay, so here's the thing. I just was thinking, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I have a feat called Vehicular Combat. Once per round, as a reaction, when you're piloting a vehicle or starship, you may negate a weapon hit by making a successful pilot check.
Nice.
The DC of the skill check is equal to the result of the attack roll.
So that means it's a 25 is what you need to beat. So you can see all the sirens and shit are coming up with the proton torpedo. And it's that fucking awful, like, mounted to it shaky cam thing that's in way too as it's coming up towards you.
And I see it in my rear view. Oh, shit.
Exactly.
All right, come on, here we go. Wait, something went very wrong.
Because you rolled for Gunner.
Oh.
And you rolled a nat 1 for Gunner.
Of course he rolled that. Of course.
Yeah. So let's try for
Kiro? Kiro actually piloting. Oh, I'm going to use a force point, though, because what do I need? A 25?
Yep, 25.
Oh, man. And is crits also double damage?
Yep.
Man.
Lazy Bantha's in good shape. I mean, what's a critical hit from a proton torpedo going to do?
Yeah, nothing. No big deal. I mean, just double check. I think I have 2 force points left. Yeah, I do. I'm going to use one.
Okay.
Just in case.
Yes!
Jeez! So what do we see is it narrowly misses him as it detonates.
It's like it's right up on the ship. Like it's literally it starts to explode, and I suddenly like dive the ship down again.
Okay.
Right above where it was 1 millisecond before.
That is an interesting thing. Why don't you give us a stealth check with the Bantha?
Okay. All right. Man, I'm so glad I used this talent.
Yeah, really. Holy shit. So this encounter is now over. This explosion goes off. There's that ring of explosion. You've carried the wave or followed the wave of this to suddenly be plunged beneath the mist that hangs around in this on the planet. And the Kanji Club ship flies through the remnants of the cloud, but you've got yourself down below. And I think the only thing we hear you say maybe is, "Don't you even think of it." And Gunner's like,
Yeah, awesome.
"All right." So then,
Oh man,
you guys affect.
hey, I think that system works pretty well. Since we've never done it before, that was pretty great.
The escape or the Starship combat?
The start both. But I mean, I'm very happy
sure
to
if you're
escape.
in character or not. Like,
No,
guys, that seemed to work out pretty well.
I do say I think both happen. I say that. Akira says that, and I also have to say that.
Agreed. Yeah, that was pretty. And you can see how like whether there's more people making more rolls for what's going on in their ship. It's really a really engrossing kind of joint activity.
And we would have been in much deeper trouble if I hadn't spent the force point and used that talent either. So that was a huge ability to have as a pilot.
Yeah.
So that's great.
It's a 9d6 times 2. No, sorry, 9d10 times 2. That's how much the proton torpedo.
Yeah. So we would have been. We had a really good chance of getting destroyed.
Because that would have been
max
damage would be what 180, 360. Is the maximum. Yeah. Proton torpedoes apparently do not fuck around.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about the choices that we have made as we try to escape the Kanji Club.
Okay,
is what Kira says to his companions.
Yeah. So after I guess following a low, kind of down near the water surface, like we finally actually see the water now lapping beneath, and you guys are just traveling along just above the nape of the nape of the earth kind of thing, and then you escape, and we see the what do you call it? Scars streak past you, and you make your escape off into hyperspace. Now, did you say, Andrew, he's working on getting back on?
He's just said that it doesn't. His whole neighborhood is out, and so he's at the mercy of the neighborhood. So
shoot!
If it comes back on, he'll come back on. But
okay, sounds good. Well, that's no problem. We then see, as you make your way off into the dark, we then see in the darkness 6 months later.
Okay.
And what we can see now is first, very much like we saw before, above the Lazy Bantha flies overhead. and then begins going down. Now, unlike that last world that had lots of dark colors and dark gray and blue, this one actually has almost like it looks like a golden orb hanging in space. Several moons on this, and as you fly down, let's do this here. Whoa. This is what we see is flying across miles and miles and miles of grain. And the thing you can hear, the clouds are thick overhead, and you can hear sort of a low rumble. And there is electricity that sort of flies up from the ground where lightning strikes are happening. And that seems to be pretty prominent as we're going across. The bantha is... we can... what do you call it? We can repair the bantha as well, too.
This great.
Yeah. Go. And hello, sweetie. And this is hi again. Hi, Goober. Hi. Hello. Yes. We see the bantha flying across the surface here, and then we see that it approaches what looks like, that sort of like squat, boxy shape that the mouse droids have?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Trapezoidal.
Exactly. But it's this, we can tell this thing is huge. And from the little lights that we see inside, this is an arcology of some kind. And the bantha flies down, and you are... Oh, I forgot to tell you the name of the last planet as well.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask, but I was wondering if it was going to wind up being a reveal of some kind. So I didn't want to get ahead of the narrative.
This was Bricado.
Okay.
Here we go. The planet Bricado. And this is the planet Wintoa.
Okay.
Hello. I got one reveal, and then we'll take our break. So, you land, you head up to this thing, and what you can hear, you announce that Arcology 6, let's call it Arcology 7. Arcology 7 landing control. You're lucky, Bantha. You just beat the storm that's coming in.
Excellent. You'll be cleared to land?
You're clear to land, Bay 36. And you head in. You can see on the side of one of these things, there's like a shutter that kind of opens up and pulls in a bit. That lets you slide in and land, and then it kind of rolls back. And you can see there's a little bit of electricity playing up and down the surface of this thing as it closes. We see, I think maybe you leave Monda and Rattle and Gunner at the ship. Well, maybe you bring Gunner with you. What do you think? Is Gunner I
think he's sort of like my bodyguard.
Wookiee?
Yeah, well, like when I get myself into trouble, which tends to happen, I need backup.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So you, Monda and Rattle will watch the Bantha, and you head off into the interior. Now, once you get inside, the arcology itself is intended to be. It's kind of like, imagine if you had a small, either a large town or a small city, where the entire thing is like that atrium that sometimes you see between two apartment buildings. So there's this huge amount of empty space in between, and then there are inverted sort of like tiers of apartments and stuff like that go on the inside of this, but allowing for still a single skylight that goes overhead. As you look up, you can see lightning kind of plays between the clouds overhead, and the interior of this is just full. Like if you think of like a sook or something like that, but by way of Mos Eisley. That's sort of what this place is. It's just a massive, sprawling market. There's tons of people from a bunch of different ethnicities and whatnot. The planet Wintoa is in not the what do you call it? The Outer Rim, not in the Unknown Reaches.
Cool.
You are looking for a cantina here. and you're looking for a contact. But you're also having to be careful. Because this is not necessarily the, you kind of made a name for yourself, as it were. So what do you think that you would be doing to try and keep a low profile, or would you care about that?
No, I think when I was younger, I wouldn't have cared. But these days, like, I'm taking things I'm being a little bit more responsible.
Yep.
So I think I've got this like in my image, there's like a scarf around him. I think he's like wrapped the scarf up around his head, like not covering his eyes or anything, but just like covering his head like that.
Sure.
I still think I'm carrying my, heavy blaster and all of that. I don't think I'm trying to look like I'm unarmed, but I'm just trying to make my way, relatively quickly without looking like I'm rushing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep an eye out as I go for anybody who might be paying too much attention to me.
Why don't you, let's do this first. Why don't you take another 2 force points back, and then give us a stealth check at +2 because of the precautions you've taken.
Okay. Here we go. Nope.
Okay.
I'm not even a force point's not going to really help me out with that.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So let's check here. Okay.
I blame Gunner.
Yeah, for sure. Like, come on, blend, man.
Yeah.
So
he stopped to look at fabric. Like,
yeah,
it's too late. Just keep. Come on.
So you guys start making your way off, and this is the classic. The camera hangs on you guys a little bit, then slowly pans over, and we can see there's a small concealed figure who's like, "What am I going to do?" And then hops up and begins following you. You make your way into the canteen, and the canteen is actually it's built up in the middle, and it's like many of the structures in here where it's really like it's a tent, and the way you kind of distinguish one place from the other is the color of fabric over top, and this is dark, so you step out of what light there is between the natural lighting and the illumination that comes from the bottom. Every one of the tiers for the apartments that run along the side, they have lights on the bottom too, so you have almost like the feeling of staring up into like a warehouse ceiling.
Yeah.
And you step into here, and the lights are all faded away. Whew. And it's this is a Star Wars cantina. So it's, a mix of people who all kind of, looking up. There's a surly guy behind the, or perhaps B. Arthur behind the the cantina bar. Yeah. And you look around, and you don't see your contact in here right now, but maybe you're early, maybe they're late.
Okay.
What are you planning on doing?
Looking for to see there's a table sort of in the back / in the shadows, some place where we can be a little bit out of the way, but keep an eye on the front door. Not only to look for our contact, but to look for any signs of trouble.
Okay.
And if on the way, depending on how this cantina works, if I need to order my drink from the bar, I would do that first.
Okay.
And then proceed to a spot to sit down.
No, it seems as if there is a sign above the canteen that says "Droids Welcome." And there are.
I was wondering about that.
Droid servers that are in here.
Okay, great.
So you, there'll be, if you stand at the bar, you can get your drink from there. You can order from one of the, droid waiters or waitresses that are making their way around.
Then I'll do that. I'll look for a spot to sit first, and then I'll order from the, server.
So you sit back, and you're keeping a careful eye out on the, on the kind of the room. The bartender kind of comes by. And then, or the bartender, the droid comes by, takes your order, turns and walks away, and there is suddenly someone standing there. Mm-hmm. The first thing they say to you is, "You got a lot of guts coming around here after what you pulled." And what you see
Yes. Awesome.
You may not call him a friend necessarily, but I mean, How could you not feel that you're friends with Lando?
Totally. That's awesome.
See, he says, don't you know this is Kanji Club territory?
I've gotten away from Kanji Club before. I'll get away from him again.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm hoping. How are you, Kiro?
Me too. I'm doing all right. How about yourself? Would I address him as sir, or what's my...
So you, because of the timing of this, you're sort of a contemporary of his as well, I think. I think you might be a little younger than... Because like our first adventures with Kiro were around the time of the... What do you call it? The Battle of Yavin, right?
Yeah.
So
he would be technically a retired general from last we knew, and if I'm working for Leia, I think I call him sir.
General Calrissian.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, you've heard about that little maneuver he had at the Battle of Tanab.
That's exactly, yes. Who hasn't?
Really? Come
on. So I'm going to be deferential. And I will refer to him as sir, but I think every time I do it, he's always ribbing me to not.
Exactly.
Call him sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So that's what we do. Well, sir, I'm just it's an honor to be in your presence once again.
Well, sir. Gunnar, you're still running around with this scoundrel? I would have thought that you would have sold him by now. He's talking to Gunnar, not you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think Gunnar is like. Like thinking about that, can I sell him? Is that possible?
Thanks for coming anyway, Kiro. Tempting as it might have been to turn in for your bounty, you know how high it's got with Kanji Club now?
No, how high has it gotten?
It's not high enough for me to consider retiring.
Well, I'm working on it.
But the general, and he kind of leans in, and he's got this way of sort of transitioning from this like smooth, affable kind of dude to immediately like conspiratorial, I don't know, like intriguer. Mm-hmm. So he leans in. Tell me, have you ever heard of Palpatine's whisper web? And you can give us a galactic lore check if you like.
Alrighty. Here we go. 25.
That's pretty good. So, yeah, there is a rumor that you've heard that always made its way around the Outer Rim. The sort of like the way that you monitor... you travel around in hyperspaces with hyperspace beacons, right? Like that's how you navigate successfully from one place and whatever. And there's the astrogation information that you download. One of the sort of open secrets in the core systems is that when you download that information, it also sort of goes both ways, and they'll track where you're going because Palpatine always wanted to know where everyone's going, right?
Yeah.
The outer systems have never, this is something that dates back to the Republic era, and ever since one of the first things that the Separatists did was to disable that whole network. They didn't want anybody, going in. But what's said is that during the Clone Wars, Palpatine managed to get a secretive system out there that still would track that stuff. Mm-hmm. So what that means is anyone traveling in the outer rim or in the navigated or mapped parts of the unknown regions, Palpatine would know where they're going. It also would be a way of navigating to the places that only he knew about.
Right.
So you've heard about this stuff, but the New Republic, to the best of your knowledge, that's one of those secrets that Palpatine took with him to his grave.
Okay.
So he's asked you, have you heard about the Whispering Web?
I've heard about it. I thought it was defunct.
Defunct? No. Just inaccessible, at least by the Republic. But we generals got word through some of our contacts that the First Order may have access, have figured out a way to access the web. If so, that means they've got a better map, or they would have a better map of these regions than what we do. And if they're able to get our the what is it called? Navigation beacons from not the navigation beacon. What's the nav computer?
Yep, nav computer. Yeah.
Then they'll be able to know where we're coming from and where we're going.
Right. That would not be good.
But there's a reason I brought you here. There's a given, a man, and given are those like skull-looking things. They kind of, gosh, I can show you a handout of one here too. Go. Voila.
Cool.
The given, you know, are sort of known to be very inclined towards the sciences. A number of mathematical or engineering or computer coding geniuses have definitely come from the given. There's a given that's been was part of the Empire's secret. It says, I guess, like what you would know, if he's part of the secret sort of scientific order. It says a lot that Palpatine would have a non-human as part of it. His name's Predit D. D's been hiding out on Wintoa. But he says he's got a way of getting us in. So,
and why would he be willing to help us out?
Let's say that we've made an arrangement. We've come to an agreement. Mm-hmm. So what we need you
if
to
anybody could do it, I'm sure it's you.
Kiro, always a flatterer.
Well, you know, in case I get into some kind of trouble later, at least you probably look more kindly on me.
You? Trouble? Come on. And he looks over at Gunner, and Gunner's just like... So he says, what we need you to do is for you to go see him. And he's at a different arcology, other side of the planet. Go see him. We've made arrangements. And he'll give you the access information. Simple job.
Yeah, no problem.
And
sure don't be any trouble.
Something catches Lando's eye. He says, well, at least that won't be a problem. And you see him stand up and kind of, it's a little abrupt for him. And he says, good luck, Kiro. And may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, sir.
And he looks over, and maybe a little luck, too. And as he turns and starts walking away, you're like, what the hell is...
Yeah,
And you can see there are 3 tattooed Kanji Club members who are stalking through the bar, looking around, trying to find something. So
I turn to Gunner and say, I told you to keep an eye out.
He looks over and you can see he's starting to like deploy the gun.
No, just get out of here.
All right, so Lando walks off. What you're sitting at the bar here? What are you thinking of doing?
It looks like at this moment they are still searching for me. They haven't spotted me, so I want to try to
basically
get out of here. Yeah.
Mechanically, what we'll do is we'll treat this as a skill challenge.
Okay, cool.
So it won't break you down into a combat scene unless you get spotted by them.
Okay.
I don't think we need to go through like a list of possible skills. I think it's sort of, you can figure out what you need to go. Just if you fail 3 times, you're spotted. You succeed 5, it will get you back to the Lazy Bantha.
Okay.
These are not the only 3 members of Kanji Club looking for you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So,
right.
what do you think it is your first action here?
I think I got to start. First, I have to see if there's another exit. So is it only the front door? Is there a back way out?
Yep.
Something like that.
So I think, let's see here. What is the knowledge here? I can't remember. Galactic Lore is the one for scoundrels. Let's see. Right, they didn't put a list of them on. That's the only thing missing from the DM screen for this is quite good. The only thing missing for it is a skill list.
Oh, it happens so often in different games. It always surprises me.
Yeah, because just like it seems to be, like if you run just one game, you sort of internalize that list of names. But if you run a bunch of different games,
yeah,
it's here we go. Okay, social sciences. So knowledge, social sciences.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
18.
18 is good enough. Okay. So for this one, it would have been a little higher. Mechanically, the difficult tasks for this one are going to be 23. Medium are going to be 18. Easy tasks are 13. This would have been a medium one, so you are good.
Oh, I just made it. Okay, great.
All right, so you've been here before, I guess, or maybe you just you intuitively know the back way out of any dive.
It's the first thing I look for as I'm entering.
So you get up. Gunnar is walking past you as well too. Gunnar sees one of them look sort of in your direction and starts getting his gun out, and you go like, "No, this," and you push through the kitchen, I guess, or.
Okay, yeah. I head through the kitchen, and I would like to I want to tell whoever I'm seeing back here, chef, cook, whatever, so that understands any language that I know. So I'll just start talking in multiple languages so somebody understands what I'm saying. There's a fire in the canteen and they need help. Hurry!
Okay. So
try to get some of them to rush out to block the door as they're trying to.
Yeah. That sounds like a deception check. Someone give us that. That one's probably only 13. So.
All right, 18.
Awesome, and you beat by 5 as well too. So there is because I did love this species. It's the Alina, those little lizard guys. The Alina were one of the pilots. What Ptolemy's character was last time.
Yep.
Yeah, so they kind of their mouths open up and they all sort of and go racing out front. One of them is trying to carry a fire extinguisher, and the other one behind it is helping carry. So they all go racing out front, leaving you an opportunity to make your way into the out the back of the tent and into sort of the larger sook area. What are you thinking next? There still seems to be one or two of these, and you can recognize them from their taut knots and their tattoos.
I think the next step is to do some stealth. Because we got to kind of try to get, because they're kind of collected around here because they've been following us because that, unbeknownst to me, but I'm figuring this out as I go. Obviously, we must have been spotted. So I'm figuring we need to try to get away from here.
Okay. So this one's going to be a 23 only because of the pre-warning they got.
Yeah.
They've had time to try and set up this ambush, as it were.
Yeah. I'm going to grab I would like to try to steal a blanket along the way. No, I won't steal it. I would slam some credits down on a vendor stall, grab a blanket, and throw it over Gunnar.
Okay, sounds good. Give us a sleight of hand check. Let's see if we can do this without drawing.
I don't see sleight of hand.
Oh, there's a sleight of hand. What is it called? Is it called subterfuge? What's it called? I don't think that's right either.
I'm looking for something.
Here. What is this skill? For here.
Tactics, maybe it's just a stealth.
And it's just deception. Let's do that.
Deception? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got.
It could be stealth as well, too. All right, so no problem grabbing it. Now you are set up. That'll give you a +2 to your stealth check.
That's great. That'll be helpful.
Wrapped him up.
There we go.
And easy. So what do we see is you and the disguised Gunner make your way out of the market here.
So I think we're moving through the market, and there are these Kanji Club armed people actively searching for us, and just as they start turning our direction, we quickly move a little bit faster and get behind another stall.
Yep.
And or then another time we get behind a bigger creature, like moving by, and we're like, and following behind them, and just whatever we can along the way, like hopping from different cover to ultimately get out of the souk area.
Okay, so you're making your way through this as well. We see the tent entrance to the cantina. Those Kanji Club members come out, and I think I've got from last time. There we go. Just a reminder what they look like. All right, so they sort of do that, like, you over there, and then they sort of split up trying to find you. You got 3 successes so far, only 2 more to go to make it to the Lazy Bantha. What are you thinking next?
I think I don't want to use any skill. Maybe we have decided that as a rule we can't use any skills twice. I don't want to use any skill twice.
No, I'd say just +1 to the difficulty class if you repeat.
If I use the same skill, okay. Yeah. That's good. Are there any kind of law enforcement people types here? Like, do they have
there's probably like a
security personnel or something?
I mean, it's the Kanji Club probably, because this is in their territory. So
okay, all right. So I'm not gonna. I was trying to figure out if I could find somebody to run interference.
Okay, so let's think. Is this the kind of like officer? This lady has a gun, and then kind of leaving.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. Be like, these are. Trust me, they're going to start shooting. It's about to go down. You got to go stop them, which is true if they see me.
Here's what I'll do is, we'll make it a deception 23.
Okay.
So it's going to be a harder deception check. But if you're successful on this, it'll count as 2 successes. And the reason is because you're basically trying to get the Kanji Club to run after the Kanji Club here.
Yes. Yep. That's fair. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Nope, but I'm going to use a force point.
Okay.
Because you never know.
Look at that!
23!
Holy shit! So, what do we see that leads them to go and, to screw up the, what do you call it? The,
so I'm starting to tell this guy, like, you got to go over there. They've got guns. They're going to start shooting. Things go down. And the guy's like, I don't think that I need to. He's like, he just pulled out a thermal detonator.
Racing over. You and Gunner go running over. Gunner complains about the rap.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
Fair.
So then you guys come. We see you sort of racing into the hangar, and Monda is once again sort of sitting on the side, or maybe he's on top working on something else. The targeting for the upper turret.
Right.
What do you say?
Hurry, go on, go. And like, I'm just running up the ramp, and I'm gonna start up the ship.
So he comes up as well too. Port control lets you out, and then we see you flying out. And why don't you take our session break now?
Okay.
Refresh our beverages. I'll get my
perfect.
Anna Banana's been bugging me to go out anyway, so
yeah.
Let's see if we waited too long, and then we'll see where you are going.
Awesome.
So back momentarily.
Go.
All right. So, hey, everybody in chat. I hope love this. Oh, nice. Thanks, Lowell. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Lowell's comment was that he loves the system. My favorite Star Wars. I've been really enjoying the Saga system quite a bit. The couple times we've run it. There's someone in chat. George was saying how much they love the Saga system.
I was thinking the exact same thing just now. It's I love the D6 system, but it's very fluid. It's very simple. It had that you know, sometimes there's games where there's a lot of narrative meta currency that of different types, and it's like hard to keep, you know, to remember which does what. But this is really straightforward and simple, and it is done in a way that really makes it feel like Star Wars.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's without being making characters overpowered.
Yeah,
so
they feel competent,
combo.
right? Like that's a thing. We played, and I mean it's apples and oranges really, but we played Starfinder last night, and the characters, because of just where we were, they're only second level characters, but because they only get one rank and whatnot too, they just don't feel competent. They feel sort of like you got a slightly better chance of success at what you're doing, but you're not feeling quite good, whereas this gives you a flat, I think it's like +5 if you're trained in the skill, and then it also scales up with your level. So even the things that you're not trained at, or as long as you can use the skill untrained, you still have a decent, it's the Leo with a speeder bike thing, right? Where, you know.
Totally. And that's you know, you obviously can play Star Wars in any way you want, and maybe people want to play a version of Star Wars where you're not those kinds of competent people, but that to me is what's a lot of fun about it. It makes it different. So I feel like it does an effective job at like making the system give that feel. So I think it's fun, and it's also straightforward. It's streamlined from 3.5. Like it is right between 3.5 and 4. It's you know, between those two, and it makes it really quick to pick up if you've ever played D&D.
And you have, I think, the talents and the feats will be very familiar if you're coming from, you know, Pathfinder or from although I think that the talents and the feats are a little more robust in this than, like, they're cognizant of like, people hate talent trees of having you know, the chain feats to get to a certain point. You do have an element of that in here too, but they've incorporated like double attacks and triple attacks as feats that you take at certain levels. So if your character wants to focus on those things, you can do that, but they don't like automatically start being like, you know, I got my PhD and now I can know Kung Fu. You know?
Exactly. No, it's totally. I agree, and I the talents especially like make your character give you something that's like a signature for your character.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you can't do it very often. Like I could do it once a day, and I got to spend a force point, but when I can do it, it's pretty awesome. And then therefore, like, it kind of defines you as your, you know, character and / role in the adventure. So, which is great because everybody kind of would turn to you and be like, all right, you're on.
This is your time to shine. Exactly. Yeah.
And okay, in a different situation, now it's that character's turn. So yeah, I think it's I like when there's those sort of highlight moments for various characters. It kind of makes everybody feel like they're an equal participant and driver of the story. So yeah, it's fun. I like it a lot. And it just makes me want to play it more and try to track down all the books that I never picked up, which is hard to do.
Yeah, this one's
expensive.
Yeah, this one was, even like when I finished my collection, it was harder to find them. Although I think with the success of Fantasy Flight, the prices of these are not quite to the like.
It depends on the book. Like the cheapest one is like Force Unleashed. Done pretty easily, and then it ranges. Like if you want the Rebellion book, like that, I think is like the most expensive one.
Knights of the Old Republic used to be the one that was the most expensive.
Or maybe, and it could still be that.
Yeah, because that one was always. I don't know if they had a smaller print run with it, or if it was just so popular from the video games. But that one was just that was the one that cost me the most back in the day.
Okay, yeah. So those two, and I, of course, do not own either of those as a result.
Those bastards. Damn you, secondary market.
It's fine. I know. So, that's what it is.
Yeah. Where our scene opens then is with the Bantha now flying through rain. And there is, we can see below as lightning strikes and the thunder rolls underneath. You see the rain-soaked fields of grain underneath you too, and you see a little bit of a pulse go across them too. Like even the wheat here seems to carry a bit of a charge. And you fly down to yet another. This arcology that you're approaching looks exactly like the other. But this is the arcology. This is, what did I say, 70 something or other? This is where you will apparently meet up with Predit D. The reason Lando brought you here is because this is the same planet where he is.
Right.
Now, is there anything that you would have done before you arrive? And feel free to take advantage of your crew's abilities as well, too.
Okay. I think one would be...
Engine's growling.
Oh, and here we go. It's a warning. I get it. Thanks.
That storm is really something. Bantha's getting angry.
A couple of things. I think one, I'd want to see if I could, if there's any information that we could find out about Predit D. You know, in galactic archives, that sort of thing. It might require slicing, I don't know, but is there anything we can find out about, like, what this guy is up to, how trustworthy is that sort of thing?
Why don't you give us, so Monda probably would be the best with used computers.
Okay.
That would be the...
Pull him up here.
Search the database.
Okay, let's see, computer... Where's this computer used? There it is.
Used computer.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yep, I know.
Yeah, it's so...
It's like...
When I was running Starfighter last night and I'd been prepping for this at the same time too, I'm like, what is it under?
All right, here we go.
Wow.
Not great. That was me rolling it, Monda.
Okay, so maybe... what is that?
This one's kind of a long shot.
Yeah, I think that there's not much he can find on the infosphere about him.
Okay.
But maybe if you tried more, that's just like general searches. That isn't delving into, like, you know, criminal contacts or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we'd want to be as exhaustive as possible.
Okay.
If we have the time.
Yeah, most definitely. So you guys, and let's give you another destiny point as well too for the remainder of the session too.
Fantastic.
Just to, if you're the one shouldering the burden here.
I'm also creating all the problems, but
you know, it's that Homer said in the solution to the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would, you know, have Monda try one other, you know, search to see in, like, criminal databases or that sort of thing.
How's he for social sciences? Knowledge, social sciences? Or is
not as good, but...
So why don't you make Kiro go ahead and make that check then?
Let me double check if that's true. Hold on before I...
Okay.
Oh, no, actually, he's 1 point better than me.
Okay.
So let me do it. Here we go. This is Monda. Didn't matter.
I never heard of this guy. Yeah. Monda's are you sure that he's... I mean...
Unknown, yeah.
You never get what he says you're seeing. You know, you never get what you think you're getting with Lando.
I don't know if that's entirely true, but maybe. All right, so I think the other thing then to do is see what we can find out about this arcology that we're going to. Is there anything specific we need to know about that makes it different or stand out, or, you know, is there some kind of facility there that we should know about?
Sure.
Or
so that'll be galactic lore, I think.
Okay, so let me just check both of them. So I'm pretty good at that, so let me see how good. Oh, Monda's 1 point better than me. Okay, so this is Monda. Come on, Monda. Oh, man, what is going on?
Roll 20 has it in for players this weekend.
Oh, anybody that's not me.
Well, no, remember as I mentioned, we had a TPK last night.
Yeah, right. Yes, that's true. But it's been kind to me so far. So I just want to point out to Roll 20. I appreciate it.
Yep. So I guess it just means, like, you are kind of going in blind here. Yeah. I mean, this still is in Cancer Club territory.
Yeah.
You know. The
I think
contact, the contact information for this guy, he is in the arcology is laid out the exact same way. Like, this is just public information you can find. Exact same way as the other. He happens to live in sort of like a mid-level on one of these arcologies. It means taking an elevator kind of, or like not an elevator, but like a, it's the equivalent of, like, imagine on the inside of here, instead of having an elevator, what it does is it's like a cable car. It kind of brings you up to the side, so that at each end of the walkway, there's a cable car that'll lead you down on an angle.
Yeah. Okay. And we know we're supposed to meet him at his apartment.
Yep.
Basically. Okay. So I think the only other thing we want to do is try to change our appearance as much as we can. So change clothes. There's not much I can do with Gunnar. I mean, to mask who he really is, and maybe I'll try to put some different, or have Monda put some different paint markings on him, or change any numbers that appear on his exterior.
Sure.
So sort of disguise.
Let's do this. Let's have Monda make a mechanics check.
Okay.
This will also be an aid. So all he needs is a DC 10 here. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I got 17.
So Gunnar's going to have +2 to his stealth.
Okay, great.
What I'll grant that as a +2 to your overall stealth.
Okay.
Maybe, so that way you, as you're trying to make your way through the crowd or whatever, if you're trying to keep a low profile, we'll use Kiro's stealth as the lead and get a +2 from Gunnar's clever disguise.
And then I think one other thing I would try to do that maybe we might have time for to ask Monda to do is, can he either take an existing thermal detonator and remove the explosive from it, or can he kludge together, can he jury rig something that looks like it might be a thermal detonator?
Yeah, easy. Why don't you give us another mechanics check here?
Alrighty, here we go.
See how convincing it is.
27. Okay,
it even like the light still goes on it too. It just has no charge in it. What did you want done with the charge? He rolled well enough that you can kind of decide what you'd like to happen with it.
I think. You know what? I'd like him to maybe put it into R4.
Okay.
In like one of its compartments. Yeah.
It's rattle.
It's rattle. It's completely safe. And then I'm like, Monda, please make sure it's safe. Just in case, like the idea would be like in Return of the Jedi when R2 throws out the lightsaber.
Yep.
He could like eject.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prime thing, that sounds good. If someone gets a critical hit on rattle, it would go off.
That's
I think,
fair.
But that's the trade-off. So and you're gonna bring rattle with you.
Yeah, I want to bring, because I want to mix it up a bit. So I need Monda to save the ship because somebody's got to save the ship. But I would take Gunnar and rattle.
Okay. So you. It's the exact or very indistinguishable process of you sort of going down the storm doors. We can see the rain pouring down and sliding down the side of this thing. There's a charge that's carrying on the outskirts of this arcology. You go in and then it closes down, and then there's a field that seems to be holding over this and keeping it safe from the lightning strikes of the storm. And what you you find yourself making your way this arcology. Like, it's got to be depressing as fuck living here, because every single one of them is identical. The arcology, like to the point of like the size of these different spaces and whatnot. And it's that the sook here is the same. Like, it's obviously different people, different spices, different kind of smells and sounds and whatnot too. But it still has the feeling of sameness to it. Mm-hmm. In the way that, like, I guess every cantina in Star Wars has the same kind of vibe to it.
Right. Yep.
Some creep trying to sell you death sticks. Around.
That's right.
So, what you what's your strategy for making your way up to Predit?
We're going to split up. so just so that we're not, again make it less likely that people would recognize us, because the more, they're like, oh wait, there's 3. We're looking for 3. So, but to stay within, I want to say 10 to 15 meters of each other.
Are they going to keep on the same level as you? Like if you go up to see Predator D, are you going to?
How far? He's like midway up, I think. Is that what?
Yeah, it's about midway.
And how do we have a sense of it, or do you know how far apart? Like not even distance-wise, but in terms of like if you have to go from one level to another, how long does that take?
Using the cable car?
Or?
Yeah, like these are not. I think these are built in a pretty cheap way, prefab kind of way. So like there's a thing that goes. It's sort of like a rattling, like literal cable car type thing that kind of. But it's operated by hover, whatever the fuck, because it's Star Wars.
Repulsors or something.
Repulsors, yeah, thank you. See, this is why you are the Star Wars guy. Me, it's hover the fuck. So yeah, the repulsor lift things will be bringing you up and down the side. It probably takes maybe like 10 minutes to go from like the main, like assuming there's no stops, or at least not lengthy stops. It'll take 10 minutes to go from the ground floor up to the midpoint.
Okay, so here's, I think what I would do is have us all of us go up to the same floor. However, no, I take that back.
Yep.
Have our Rattle stay at the main floor, which I'm assuming is in the soot, basically.
Yep.
Right, and then separately, Gunnar and I will go up the cable car, and I'm gonna have Gunnar stay at the entrance to that cable car, or in the hallway, or however it's laid out, so that I could then on my own proceed down to his apartment door, Predator's apartment door, with me and Gunnar still able to see each other, if that's a possibility.
Yep, absolutely. Like what you having looked at the schematics for this, you sort of know what to expect. And on each level, what there is there's about there is a wide kind of concrete or ferrocrete like a walking area, like a promenade, I guess. That's about the length of a basketball court. And then that leads up to where the buildings are, and then on each of the levels, there's like maybe 1 or 2 levels that are stories that are built into the side, and that's where the HAB units and whatnot are. And then on the odd places, there's alleyways as well that have been built in, so it's got a feeling of a city, but it's really just like a brick of ferrocrete that's been poured in one specific shape, right? This is the Soviet-style Star Wars.
I literally was just going to say that. That was my vision of it. What is it called?
Brutalist.
Brutalist. Yeah. So totally get it. All right. This sounds good. I like this. I like the plan, and I totally understand what the situation is in terms of the architecture.
So and what you also find is that like any kind of place like this. Oh, thank you. You find that the people who live here have made the place their own too. So like there's stalls and stuff like that that's set up on in the promenade too. There's areas that have been set aside to play games and such. There's places where like someone's preaching in some kind of way. There's people selling art. It's just and then there's like old people who are all sitting around playing games, right? So it's an eclectic mix of the people who came to Wintoa are farmers. What do you know is that the Wintoa has a climate that is incredibly amenable to a lot of different grains. The difficulty is that if because of the violence of the storms here, anyone wearing any kind of metal or whatnot, and with so much of farming operations made to be working with droids, it just is like it's a magnet for lightning, effectively. Yep. So this place sort of alternates between being stuck indoors for months at a time, and then suddenly having a mass go and collect all the grain that's grown, and before the next storm kind of rolls in. So that means that they've got very little to do, and then apart from whatever side businesses that are going on, and because of unless you've got a starship, it's difficult making your way around because of the magnetic storms. It means that each sort of
Right.
arcology is its own thing. Pretty handy place
Interesting.
if you're wanting to get away from people and stay off the grid too, because your sensors have been fucking playing havoc. Storm's been playing havoc with your sensors.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's good to know.
So you make your way up to the. I guess first off, let's give us a stealth check. Let's see how well hidden you are, and +2 to this result.
Alrighty. Here we go.
Oh no, +5 because a combination of splitting up and then also disguising yourselves. That's pretty good.
Okay. Great. Here we go. 25.
Awesome. So you reach the midpoint, opens up. Gunner, you find is already in position for
Right.
keeping watch out. So you spare a look, but don't give anything away. You make your way down to about the halfway point. These are, like the prefab buildings on Tatooine, where they're like, knock on the doors and they open up and the stormtroopers are interrogating. That's like all the entrances here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Cool.
you make your way to where you've heard that Predat D is staying.
Okay.
Look back and forth,
Yeah.
and then what do you do?
Is there some kind of like a button to press like a door,
Probably, yep.
effectively a doorbell? Okay. So I'll press that buzzer.
Okay.
I have my hand on my blaster.
Okay.
And I will step. Well, do I notice if there's any kind of like little peephole type thing that might open?
No. Give us a
okay.
perception check. Let's see.
Okay. Perception. Here we go. I'm not great at perception, as we have seen. Nope. I have no idea. So that's fine.
So you're
So
looking
I'm just
around.
assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
I just assume that there's not something there. I have no idea. But so instead, I'm gonna take like a step to the side of the door. So if I can figure out which way the door might, is it door is opening up, or is it slide sideways?
Yeah, maybe it's like to the side.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to be on the side where it opens.
So like you'll be standing there.
So I'll be standing like, but against the wall,
Okay. Okay.
so that I could quickly look and see who that is right there.
Yeah. I get it completely. Okay. So you got yourself positioned to the side, and then you hear the door opens, and wrapped up in similar clothing to what you hid Gunner in. There is a Given.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that
Surprise.
is not evident in the illustration, there's actually like a little bit of a membrane that is in. They've got their exoskeleton, and then there's a membrane that's inside there too. So it has the look of wearing a mask, but it's just that's actually part of their body, not. So you have no eyes to see where they're looking, but
Right.
the door opens, and this guy is probably he's quite tall, so it's like maybe 6'4" or so, but very, very thin. Pokes his head out, kind of looks.
Yeah. And I go, I was sent to have a little discussion with you, and I'm looking around making sure no one's overhearing.
He leans, takes one step out the door. Calrissian?
You got it.
Inside. He turns and walks inside.
Okay, I will follow him, but I'm still. And right before I go in, I give one last look back at Gunner.
Okay.
And like, he knows what that means.
Yeah. So as you step in, what you find is a place that is a lot cleaner and nicer than what you would have expected. It's almost like stepping into.
That's interesting.
The place has a lot of very drab colors to it, but in that kind of almost harkening back to that Imperial era aesthetic where everything had that antiseptic kind of, everything's built the same. If you've sat at one table in one carrier in anywhere in the Empire, you're probably sat at the exact same fucking table anywhere else, right? And it's not. There are a couple little touches of personality in here as well, where you can see that there are some unusual bits of. It's almost like a if you combined the aesthetic of the kind of like medieval Memento Mori stuff with lots of skulls and whatnot, combined with sort of the geometric shapes of Arabic design.
Oh,
traditional Arabic design, right? So, and obviously they're not Memento Mori, they're not skulls and whatnot, they're given, and it's just got this unusual, it reminds you almost of like some astrogation calculations.
Oh, cool.
Depicted in a, So you study this around, and then there are also a couple of, maybe a couple of, not books necessarily, but like, maybe displays that have like information about they're tracking maybe the movement of different stars or things like that, and you can see that open on his desk there is a data pad that has something about it's calculating gravitic qualities. Is again something you would use when you're flying by hyperspace. Ain't like dust and crops, you gotta be careful, right? And those gravitic calculations are, it's the thing that a nav computer normally does, but that's what he seems to be reading, and that's your level of familiarity with it.
And I'll just say, I like what you've done with the place.
Turns and looks, and I made with what I could.
Well, definitely, I feel like this is you. And I'm like looking at the walls with all the stuff.
Indeed.
Anyway, now I'm starting to realize like any kind of like minimal charm that I'm able to use on people is not going to work in any way with this guy. So
yeah, he's got a like definitely
scientific mind.
He reminds you of some customs officers that you've encountered before. No sense of humor.
Yeah.
So he sits himself down, and in spite of wearing the sort of the drab clothing that he is, he still is, carrying himself with like a rigid posture and sitting down. And he says, "Would you care for a beverage?"
Well, normally I take you up on that, Predit, and I appreciate it, but I'm a little bit concerned about, hanging out too long. We got some people who might be interested in what you have to provide me with, and I'd like to get going as quick as I can.
And Calrissian informed you. You know the task. I am ready. And he looks over and you can see it's actually quite a few bags that are packed.
Can you be more specific about the task part?
Vopo D, my wife.
He didn't totally fill me in on this part. Can you elaborate?
He assured me she is held. The Guavian death gang.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He said
that makes sense.
That you would be able to get that information. I know who knows where she is. I have done work for them. You need only use your contacts at Kanji Club. They know the way to Harrow Point Station.
So let me just get this straight. You want me to find out from Kanji Club where the Guavian Death Gang is holding Vopa D, your wife, at Harrow Point Station?
No. The task is not that difficult. We know she is at Harrow Point Station, being held by the Guavian Death Squad. The rest you have correct. Death Gang, sorry.
Yeah. I'm not on, let's just say, ideal terms with Kanji Club at the moment. Is it that you don't? Is it that they know where she's being held within Harrow Point Station? Is that the information they have?
Why don't you give us a... Let's see what Kiro knows about Harrow Point Station. Why don't you give us a...
Okay.
You can give us either galactic lore to learn sort of general knowledge about the place. You can give us a knowledge, social sciences role to learn what the Guavian Death Gang may want to be doing with them, and you can do both.
Okay, we'll start with galactic lore and see what I can find out generally.
Sure.
And then I'll go to the next one.
Awesome. So, Harrow Point Station is it's fairly famous only because it is a mining operation, and it's a mining operation that is established on the event horizon of a black hole. It's also known as, because of the unusual quality of the corona around the hole, it's also known as the Harrowing Star. Hence the name Harrow Point Station. What Harrow Point Station mines is using gravitic fields and magnetic fields. It harvests super dense elements from within the corona of the... I know corona is not the correct astrological thing. I can't remember the name of the... whatever it is, the debris field around a...
right.
The ring, yeah, maybe, whatever it is. But that's what it does. It has been in operation had been in operation for many, many years, but had not been profitable since the end of the Clone Wars. As such, it was abandoned.
I see. Okay. All right. And then, and do I know who's currently inhabiting Harrow Point Station?
Why don't you give us a knowledge, what do you call it? Social sciences. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Ooh, awesome.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So the Guavian, let me show you as a quick reminder for those listening at home who may not know who we're talking about. Best visual design in the new trilogy. There we go. That is the Guavian Death Gang.
Cool.
These guys are another one of these sort of up-and-coming gangs that has come in as the influence of the Hutts have waned. Guavian Death Gang has sort of come up in the last 30 or 40 years. They're said to be quite partial to cybernetic implants and things like that. And one of the ways that they have financed it with the rise of the tensions between the New Republic and the what do you call it? The Outer Rim, and then the struggle, with the First Order and whatever other pretenders are out there. The call for super dense materials is kind of up again. So there's a little bit of manufacturing or grabbing those super dense elements, and also partly because like that ring they've got on their stylized part of their face, that's kind of an inversion of the Harrowing Star.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Plus, who doesn't want to have a badass gang headquarters right next to a black hole?
No, it is pretty awesome. I want to say that I wrote an adventure for the Star Wars Adventure Journal that was set around a station orbiting a black hole, but I could be completely making that up because it was 20 something years ago. But I have a vague recollection of that.
Disney should do something like that too.
Maybe a whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. Giant red robots sounds great.
Yeah.
So what? So one of the other attractions is that because of the disturbance from the gravitic fields around there too, it's really hard to just jump in at the station. You have to jump in further away, which means that you got plenty of warning to get in there.
I see.
Yeah, so
and plenty of time for them to see who's coming.
Precisely. Yeah, so they know who's coming and they can deploy whatever they need.
Okay.
They have. You are certainly familiar with these two, but there are Guavian Death Gang ships as well too that have been built and probably financed in part by that. What do you call it?
The mining.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's helpful. So I will say to Predat,
Here's the.
why is it it's your wife? It's your wife, right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Why is she being held by the Guavian death gang?
Because she is a genius. And she can access the Whispering Web.
I see. That's bad news for a lot of reasons.
Indeed, with that information, one could track where shipments are going and quite easily prey on those. The Kanji Club has information for calculating a close jump to drop out of hyperspace. He leans in. You are familiar with navigating in hyperspace, are you not?
A little. I dabble. So I hear what you're saying. Okay, well, I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get that information. Seems like it's something that would be crucial to carrying out this task, as you put it.
General Calrissian seemed most certain you were equal to this task.
Son of a bitch. Just to go to a different franchise or something. Well, he's got a lot of faith in me, and let's hope that's well placed. And just to be clear, is the idea that I would be liberating Vopadi from once I reach Howard Point Station, or am I just getting the information from Kanji Club to do the close jump, to arrive at close to the event horizon?
General Calrissian assured me that you would be capable of arriving at Harrow Point Station, liberating my wife, and then we would give your resistance that information.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds. Yeah. That he might have left just a slight bit of that out when we spoke, but not surprising. Not surprising.
He nods. It is truly a sign of respect when one does not need to show everything to a capable student.
That is an interesting way of looking at it. Let's go with that. Yes,
he nods as if like in agreement, like perfect, perfect job on my Calrissian's part.
And will you be accompanying us on this task?
He looks down at all the bags that are packed.
Oh yes, that's for now. It's all starting to make sense. I'm not as dumb as they say I am.
He leans in. I have asked around. They don't think you're that dumb.
Okay. Not sure to take it. Good. Great. Okay. Well, why don't we get you out of here? I think I'm already getting nervous about how long we've been chatting. You need all of this? All of these bags?
Well, yes. If you wish us to calculate a safe jump into Harrow Point, how difficult the gravitic forces make navigation. They also make sensors inoperable.
Yes, that is a problem. No, I do not want to leave anything behind. that would prevent us from doing that. I just want to make sure that none of this was underwear or anything like that, which I can provide. Well, I probably can't provide. You're kind of a tall guy. Anyway, let's. So, how can I carry what between the two of us? Can we carry what he's got here?
It turns out he's got a droid that also will.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like they'll hook a little wagon up to him. Picture like a little a little trolley hooked up to kind of a squat gonk unit. Not a full-size gonk droid, but like a smaller thing.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to be.
Funny.
That and his little labor droid will bring everything.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get going. And basically, my plan is to open the door, look to stick my head out, basically look to see if I see Gunner, and try to. That's my first point of contact, is like see what's happening, if anything's going wrong.
Okay. So you make your way out. Much as what you left it, there's the sound. I mean, obviously it's quite loud there. Everyone's out, in the there's kids who are out here. There's old people. There's music. There's a community that's sort of up, and not just here, because of the way the acoustics would work in here. You would kind of hear every single level's noise all mixing together in a dull kind of white roar, white noise, and then a little more localized kind of like noise, chatter.
And then, okay, great. And I will then get on the comm and say, Rattle, everything clear down there?
What is Rattle's perception here? Let's see here. Why don't you give us a 1d20 plus, let's see here. Where are you? +3.
+3.
Yeah.
Go.
Not great at.
Not great. 10.
10. Okay. As far as you can tell, nothing.
Okay. I'll just assume that he knows what he's talking about. So the plan, which we would have pre-established also on the way back, would be for me to go with Predat past Gunner, so that Gunner had our back, basically.
Yep.
So I would go down first in the cable car. How often do the cable cars come? Like, how far behind me if he didn't come in the...
Probably, I mean, they're hover things, so they probably can move around. I think that it probably only takes you a couple of minutes to get one. It's just that it's the time moving up and down is the...
Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the risk this time of I'll pass Gunner, go into the cable car, have him do one last look down the hallways, make sure no one is coming, and then step in with us. Okay. So we'll all go down together.
Sure.
And meet up with Rattle.
And I'm picturing it like, like the like San Francisco cable car kind of thing, where it's just, or New York cable car kind of thing, where it's just full of people all the time. And there's a little place, so you get yourself kind of crowded in there. If you think of any, so you spent time in Vancouver. I'm not sure if you ever run the SkyTrain. It's just, I mean, the subway, the fucking New York subway would be the same thing too. So it's full, constantly.
I did go on the SkyTrain, to the airport.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Same me too, just full of people, still bright and whatnot, but there's a lot of people. So crowds in, and then you make your way down. What is the plan here? Just to try and get to the Lazy Bantha and then figure out what to do next, or?
Yeah, I want to. My main concern is getting Predat safely to the Lazy Bantha in case something goes wrong. Because as long as we've got him, we still have a chance here. If I lose him, we're in big trouble. So I want to get him secure, and then figure out how I'm going to get this information from Conja Club.
Okay.
And I think I might need Monda's help. Maybe there might be some slicing involved. I don't know yet, but there's a discussion to be had. I don't want to have that discussion and be out in the open.
Okay.
Giving us more chance to get noticed.
So let's do this. Why don't you give us one more stealth check to make your way back to the ship. I'll give you a +5 still if you're planning on splitting up.
Yeah, we'll split up. We'll split up again, and I will. That includes Predat. Although I will make sure that I'm, as close as I can be, like around 10 meters at the most away from him.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 28.
Incredible. So there is Kanji Club, or there are Kanji Club members who are making their way, around, keeping an eye on things. And you do that kind of, you see one and kind of like, checking something on your, data phone or whatever, and then spin around and, make your way through the crowd. And you guys find yourself getting back onto the Lazy Bantha.
Excellent.
Okay, so I do have a floor plan.
Oh, nice.
Of the Bantha.
Oh, that's awesome. What book? Do you know what book that's from, or did you just find the image?
I don't remember.
That's great.
I want to say it's one of the Star Wars Insiders magazines, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
There we go.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It was something I found on the internet search. It might have been one of the RPGs as well, but I think that it was Star Wars. Galaxies.
That's very possible. But that's great.
Star Wars Insider, not Star Wars Galaxy.
Yeah.
But in any event, so you guys are going to be spending time in the lounge, I suppose.
Okay.
Your choice. Where do you think you would be sitting to discuss this?
I think I want to. I guess. So I want to get all of Predate's gear and all of the stuff that he's brought, and put that in the storage hold. Okay. So just to get that all kind of placed away, and then I think we need to just be in the lounge.
He's asked for a place to work as well too.
So I will. There is a workshop, so I will. If this is the kind of place that's helpful to him, otherwise I could just give him some. I mean, I don't know, the captain's room, basically. Yeah. If that's better, whichever one is better for him.
The workshop would be sufficient.
Okay, great. So which is also great because it's right next door to the lounge. So I will tell him it's all yours. Okay. And so I want to have him there in case we need information from him while we're having this discussion. But basically, I relay to everybody what we need to do.
Okay.
And I think probably Manda is like, wait, no one, you never mentioned any of this, and I just this happens all the time. So I can't. But the point is this: do you have the ability, or maybe with the help from R4, I don't know, to try to slice into Kanji Club's network to find this data that we need to help us make this jump that we need to.
So he could try. Let's see here. I think that
I forget how slicing works in this.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Fantasy Flight has a whole. That's like a game of its own.
Yeah, I think slicing is the. I think maybe you would be the best place to do this. My impression of it has always been that it's been the RPG that sort of pushed that into the game because Cyberpunk was kind of big at the time, and then slicing became a thing, and then it sort of just has followed forward in the in all the RPGs, and then later in the comics and stuff. Like my point, they have a maneuver in Fantasy Flight that allows you to slice another ship, and my response is always well, then why the fuck didn't we see anyone doing that in the films?
Yeah,
because it's a thing that hacking and whatnot. I thought was just a thing when the WEG game was out, so it became part of it, and it just has carried forward. But it's not that part of it is now consistent with the canon because of they've introduced slicers and whatnot into the video games and other stuff. But the whole and there was wasn't there a film recently that had one droid hacking or jamming someone else's thing?
Yes, in Last Jedi, I believe. There was that black. I honestly can't remember. There's so many now.
Yeah.
But I know where it originated from for the WEG version was R2 getting information on
From
where
the Death
League was
Star,
being
of
held.
course.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it wasn't like a whole data jacking, big deal. It was just like, what to me, one role. Instead of like, oh, we're doing a meta game inside here. So like Cyberpunk or something. So So I don't know how they do it in here, and hopefully it is more.
I don't think so. Well, check use computers.
Yeah.
I think you can structure it like a skill challenge, and there may be.
Oh, and that's interesting. I mean,
Yeah, I think that
I like skill challenges.
They've got in Galaxy of Intrigue this one right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
They've got that's the suggestions for it, and there's really I think like the best advice they've given for skill challenges outside of DMG2 are in there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because there's some really clever, like easily transferable stuff to any other game that where you're using skill challenges, and including things like degenerating things. So like if you fail, the difficulty classes are automatically going to be going up, because you're spiraling down. There's so many options. I can't really do them justice, but it is.
I will definitely put that on my list to pick up.
Let's see here. I should, I can, if you want, after the game too, I'll tell you like sort of my nutshell, like on thing, but I'll send you an email or something, or maybe post on Discord, sort of my thoughts on what use each of the different books has. Oh
yeah, that would be, whenever you have a chance, that would be amazing.
It's such a rare thing for me to talk about a game I like, but I'm happy to do that for you. That's true. All right, so let's see here. It is so to improve access is a full round action to improve. Basically, use the computers have the attitude, just like the classic D&D stuff, right?
Yep.
I think you do need to have actual access to the specific thing, unless it's stored on the HoloNet. Right. Then it's going to have, it'll be a partition drive, I think is what it's called.
Right. You'd have to be jacked directly into that network.
And that is likely the case here, is you do need to get, but let's see what you can track down, though. Why don't we just give us Mada can give us a computer use check, and one person can aid as well, too.
Okay.
So maybe Kiro can...
Yeah, let me see what I have for use computer. I'm not great in it. I have a 5.
You can use any skill. I think that your knowledge of social science may be something you could use for, because you're helping him to sort of narrow the search.
Yeah, it's the same.
DC to aid another is always a 10, though.
All right, so I will do that. I will use my social sciences knowledge to try to help.
If you have another suggestion as well, too, like... like for instance, you could maybe use deception. If you're like, well, where would I hide this shit? The DC might be a little higher to aid because it's fairly oblique, but if you're better at that,
right, that makes sense. What about this? I want to go back in my knowledge in all the discussions I've had with any Kanji Club members, because at some point I was dealing with them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think about trying to figure if I can use something like gather information, like from in the past. Like in the past, I had been gathering information because I wanted to know as much as I could about their operation in case something went wrong. Which of course it did. Yeah. Just trying to use others. I'm looking for other skills. I want to make sure I use the breadth of skills that we have.
Why don't we do this? If you want to, I love that, establishing it through your backstory. If you spend a destiny point, I'll tell you precisely where it would be.
Oh, great. Yeah, I will totally do that. Okay. So we'll go down to 1 destiny point.
So once he mentions who it is, you're like, of course it is. And that is Razu Kin Fi. One of the sub-lieutenants to the leader of the Kanji Club, whose name I can't remember offhand.
Okay.
I have actually, because I didn't realize they, in the last, during the pandemic, they all, those Handbook for the Jedi and the Sith book and the Bounty Hunter book? They also released a Smuggler book, and they also released a, I can't remember what the other one is. But like both those are showing up today, one day after the session.
Of course,
I was like, I need these because it
Yeah.
talks about this shit. Like it talks about the Kanji Club and the Guavian Death Squad and stuff like that. There's a lot of info
cool.
on Wikipedia that was all drawn from that book. I'm like, how did I not know that book existed? But
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
yeah. Anyway, so Razu Kinfi is he's the sub-lieutenant, and because the life in the Kanji Club is violent and physical, like they're all quite incredibly well-trained martial artists, and they kill each other to get promotion.
Right.
They learned a lot of things from the Hutts, not always good things. And he is likely to have it on his person in some kind of like the like Nixonian secret files kind of stuff. He does the exact same thing, but keeps it on himself because he figures he can, physically keep everyone else away.
Right. Okay. 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 So I'll be like, oh, I just remembered, and I'll tell Amanda that.
Yep.
So we just got to get to him.
And what is Predit here for what you're discussing this?
Yeah.
Or?
I wanted to like get him settled and put his stuff down, but then I wanted him here for this combo.
Yeah. So Predit says that is the man that General Calrissian had dealt with.
Dealt with?
Made arrangements. Understood that you would be going.
Oh. Sly devil. All right. That's it. I'm surprised.
Did he not mention that?
I'm going to say every once in a while he leaves a couple of key details out, but for the reason that you said before about
How wise of him to leave it for your opportunity to discover those things.
That's what it is. He's always trying to help me out, that guy. And I so appreciate it. So
We got to Lando flying off planet.
just like exactly. That's great. Okay, so basically, Kira says to the team. So it seems to me that somehow Razu is gonna he's gonna help us out here. Is that what everybody else is getting from this?
Manda turns and says, Isn't Razu the one who put the bounty on your head?
Well, that's my problem. Is that part of the equation doesn't add up.
Gunnar kind of looks and he thinks about what General Calrissian had said to him before too, and he says, "Is the general selling you?"
It's a distinct possibility. All right. Well, here's the thing. We know that we need this data. Without it, we can't even carry out this mission. And if we don't, as we know, we're not going to get what we need to protect the Resistance and the rest of the galaxy. So we're going to have to go see if we can make a deal with Razu to get this information, or see if a deal has already been struck in some way. Hopefully, I don't have to turn myself over, but if I do, maybe I do. We'll see what the situation is, and if things go wrong.
Predit leans, forward on the table, and he says, "You would turn yourself in to save my wife?"
Well, let's just say I would do it to save everyone. And he's almost like, who said that?
Yeah.
Who's talking?
So he sort of leads back, and you can see, you can't, again, exoskeleton with, gauzy, filament and whatnot, or membrane inside too, so it's very hard to read him, and there's not a lot of body language that he's given off either.
Yep.
So then what you know is that Razu Kinfi is on Wintoa.
Right.
So it'll just be at one of the other arcologies.
Okay. So I think here's the general plan would be we're going to locate him, go to that spot, try to get some kind of figure out a way to try to interact with him without anybody else being around.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but that'd be the ideal situation. And then see where it goes from there. Ideally, it's just some kind of negotiation or some kind of discussion. But if not, we'll all be prepared to, fight him if we have to.
So if there's, I guess, a couple of things to think of here. For one, like he's going to be, and this is just to contextualize it, because he's a lieutenant in year 2. You can picture something more akin to like Jabba's palace in terms of the throne room kind of stuff, where he'd be receiving you, which would be full of Kanji Club. Again, like they've, much as they pride themselves as being, the ones who fought against the Hutt and whatnot too. Like they're that sort of unfortunate, abused, the type that sort of adopt the lessons of their abuser.
Yep.
So
so that makes sense. So knowing that, I would say then we'll do the I'll take that same thermal detonator that Manda already created for me, without the explosive in it, but with the explosive in Rattle, and we'll use, if we have to, we'll walk in there, try to negotiate. If we have to, we'll pull out a thermal detonator. And if that goes south, we'll pull out an actual thermal detonator.
Yep. I think they call that the Organa bargain, don't they?
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
So,
but I think Kiro this is a moment narratively for Kiro to realize that he's changed a great deal since we first met him.
Yeah. This is an aside, but like in films, there's certain lines that are just like, they're delivered so well, like that the dude from Jaws who's like, a what? When he says that it's a tiger shark. A what? That's the same thing with the Anthony Daniels delivery of he's holding a thermal detonator. Fucking love it so much.
It's great. It's a great scene.
Oh man. Just like perfect line delivery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh god. Anyway, so where how do you sort of see this meeting going? You're going to get the go-ahead. We sort of, in a montage, we see that when you hear, it's maybe a little unnervingly quick that you get approval with a meeting. You have an audience before Razu Kinfi.
Yeah. My assumption is he's going to want to, he's going to want to take me in some way. But my objective is to convince him to let me at least do this one task, and then I'll voluntarily let him take me back.
Okay. So as you guys are finalizing your discussion, we sort of you can picture you're cutting back and forth between like the lazy bantha like flying through these darkened skies, lightning kind of overhead, rain coming down as you're flying towards a slab-like arcology that is, in some lights, could be seen as a tombstone. As you're flying on, any last conversations or discussions you've got here?
I just say, I'm sure it's going to be fine, but I just want to mention, for the record, it's been a hell of a ride. I'm glad we're all on this journey together.
Okay. Everyone sort of, nods, and then we cut to like that same picture of the storm doors opening up, and you going in, and then it definitely has that funereal, sepulchral feel to it as it closes. In contrast to the vibrancy and life in the other two arcologies you've seen too, this place, it sounds like imagine how far your footsteps echo when you empty out an arcology of that size, and you're stepping on that ferrocrete floor, cack, cack, cack. And it's almost as if they have, stationed it so that it's this intimidating walk you're making to this. At the far end of the arcology, there's this sort of built-up area where Razu Kinfi is sitting. and around him are a bunch of the Kanji Club. And as you're going into, a lot of them are sort of going into like intimidating martial arts sort of techniques. And there's at least 80 of them in here.
I just whispered to Mondo, he definitely knows how to put on a show.
Yeah. And again, the guy's like, lots of, what is it, Terrace Kai? Is that what it's? That's the martial
Terrace
art.
Kasi.
Terrace Kasi. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're clearly they've know their stuff, and the entire time you're walking up towards it too, Razu is just glaring at you. Are you returning his gaze, or are you?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, like I'm doing the opposite. like it's totally fine.
And when we hear it, it's from the very highest point in the arcology. Like it feels so small. And like,
Yes. Totally.
hey. All right, so you
That's
walk
great.
up, and they're all standing in silence, right?
Yeah.
And you stop at about. This is he's not on a hover barge, but it's they've built effectively like Jabba's seat, but for a human. There are other ones too. There are some Weequay amongst the humans. There are some. I'm trying to think what the other ones were. The Klaatu, the Weequay, and the Nikto.
Yeah.
Yeah, in amongst the groups, and they just sit in silence. Actually, I don't mean to go to more in our last minutes of the session here to more. Here we go.
Okay, everybody, don't talk at once. All right, let's. And I'm like really trying hard to not like be scared out of my mind.
Yeah. And Razu finally is the one who speaks. Kiro, Star Skimmer. And you can hear kind of as the people around are sort of snarling or making intimidating sounds.
Hi, everybody.
And he says something in, you speak Huttese, right?
I do.
Yeah. So he speaks in Huttese as well. Just spit all over the screen. Like, why is there so many fucking red?
Well,
because
Hey, look at Jabba. He's got drool everywhere. Like
it's the level of. I have a little. What do you call it? The. What are the? What's Salacious Crumb again?
Salacious Crumb. What is
something
species
monkey
name?
bird?
Yeah. I'm not gonna
whatever
remember.
he is. Yeah.
But yeah.
So
yeah.
he. What do you call it? He is speaking in Huttese doing this, and I'm not going to do the same blah 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 thing and then translate, but you can understand what he's. Yeah.
Totally.
Though that is an awful lot of fun to do.
It is.
And I was strongly
I was enjoying it.
There is a point where it can be too much of a good thing, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. So what he says to you is that let's see, you know that Calrissian gave us your head.
Well, I kind of was hoping he would give you my whole body, not just the head. Oh, tough crowd. I realized that was the case, and yet here I am, because I feel like something I must do. Can you provide us this information in exchange?
He leans in. I have what you want. But you know what you are worth to me, Star Killer. And he gets up and like he moves like an athlete, like he really is, makes his way down. You've heard that he has killed like 5 men at the same time, killing all of them when they were armed with vibroblades and whatever else too. Like he's a incredibly lethal hand-to-hand fighter.
Yeah.
So he makes his way down and is trying to, he has that like coiled, ready to get pounced kind of energy to him as well too. His eyes are twitching a little bit even. Gets all the way up to you. He actually, not for nothing, he made his position by killing the previous occupant.
Right.
Leans in. And he's like, face to face. We would have our sideways thing, and like your noses are almost touching.
Awesome.
And what he says again in Huttese, but you are worth nothing to me.
Well, let's not get nasty.
He turns to the Given, and he says, tell Calrissian he may have this if Starskimmer does a task for me.
Everybody wants me to do a task, like and then like I realize it's not the time, Kiro.
He looks over and gestures, and this medical droid that looks pretty battered and looks like it's got a bunch of like, modifications on it, steps forward. And it's got some kind of, there's a canister, and you can tell it's like a industrial strength thing, the thing that like, it can take a good beating and banging and whatnot too, but there's some kind of volatile liquid inside. He gestures, I will give you the information to reach Harrow Point base. You will deliver this to the filtration system.
The filtration system?
This will distribute this throughout the ship.
So this is, you mean at Harrow Point Station itself?
Yes.
Aha. And can I ask what's in there?
And he looks over at the droid, and the droid just simply says, the Blue Shadow Virus.
Okay. I don't think I want to know a lot more about that.
You can, there's sort of a moment where Mondo sort of looks over at you. You can give us a galactic lore check.
Okay. For Mondo or for Kiro?
Either.
Okay, I'll just do Mondo.
Well, Mondo seems to know what it is.
Okay, yeah, so let's do Mondo. Here we go. Ooh, he definitely knows.
Yeah. So, the Blue Shadow Virus, it was a deadly disease that spread like a plague in the galaxy many years before the Clone Wars. Although the virus was eradicated, Dr. Nuvo Vindi of the CIS re-engineered the virus on Naboo. He attempted to spread it across the planet, but was stopped by the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order. Though, that means that the information contained there would have fallen into the hands of... Who is that one that was involved with that senator from Naboo? Oh, yeah.
Let me think.
Skywalker. So you look over, and this is it. There's a vicious blue thing that's roiling around inside. This is like the most lethal, or at least one of the most lethal viruses anywhere. Even with their cybernetic enhancements, this could very well wipe out the Guavian Death Gang.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I can't imagine it would be a problem to make that happen.
Okay. Monda seems a little, he's not saying it out loud, but you can tell from the look that he's giving you that, like, what are you doing?
And I'm trying to be like, don't worry, I got a plan, like.
Okay. So as
is that the trade that you wish to make?
Yes. And you will also bring this. And he holds up a second little canister. This will be attached to the Bantha. If this does not attach to Harrow Point Station, we will deploy this on your ship.
And that's some kind of happy, fun, gas.
The droid steps forward again
these days.
And again, the blue shadow virus.
Yeah, okay. Okay. What if I turn myself over to you?
He starts chuckling, and then everyone starts sort of chuckling along with him in that, like, goofy, gangsters kind of way. He starts laughing, full belly laugh. He turns and starts walking up. The whole arcology right now you can hear is all laughter. And he gestures with his hand like, go. And the droid steps forward and says, where shall I be staying on your ship?
I think we could find a nice room for you. Got a really nice cargo area. I think it's just right for someone like you.
If there is space to work. And he looks, and you see he's dragging behind. There is some kind of large crate, and Lord knows what's in there. He turns, and the guards now start sort of like shuffling you back towards your ship.
This deal just gets worse and worse.
And with that, we will bring our session to a close. Obviously, not the last we will see of the crew of the Lazy Bantha. We had already talked about this beforehand of playing more Star Wars, but we didn't get through. Shocking, I know, to not get through everything I'd written for a session. But awesome. Well, then, first off, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for, I guess, part one of the Whispering War. We will be back again in the new year with some more Star Wars. I will be sure to let everyone know beforehand so you can catch it live if you want to, or otherwise. And I expect there may be more members of the crew. I'm sorry to Andrew that he wasn't able to play today, too. That really sucks that he lost power, it's particularly like, this time of year.
Like most of Ontario, he just was posting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, rolling blackouts in the middle of the Canadian winter is not... Wowzers. Yikes. Well, we hope you get power back in soon, Andrew. That's just awful. But for those listening at home, we will be back again in a galaxy far, far away soon, as is always the case. Let me turn this music down, too. Where is it? You. Down. And there we go. There we go. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we played, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and we'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there is a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where we have channels dedicated to Star Wars RPGs, as well as a bunch of every other game we run on the channel, and a bunch of other great things like finding a group, or selecting between virtual tabletops. Lots of great people, lots of great conversations. You are more than welcome to join us over there. And I don't have, unfortunately, any update yet on our charity initiative that benefits SOS Children's Villages International. I'm hoping to get that taken care of tonight. But we will see. It's been a long day. We'll see if we can have the energy for that. But we will have, again, soon the ability to make donations to SOS Children's Villages International, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. We'll be also having our charity raffle again sometime soon. So it'll be, if you have made a donation since August 1st, rest assured that you have not lost that donation. That will still count towards our next charity raffle. It just means that the raffle is going to be sometime in the new year. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to George. Thank you so much for doing the heavy lifting on so much of the session today. This was...
It's not heavy lifting. It's just incredibly fun. Like, I had a great time. I love this, universe, and I also really enjoying this game system.
I 100% agree on both counts too, and a great character. Like, what a great character to write for, as well too. Kiro is.
I'm enjoying all the characters.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, then for those listening at home, thank you once again for joining us for this. Part one of the Whispering War adventure. We will be back again at some point in the near future, and we'll let you know well ahead of time when that's going to happen. Until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes in a galaxy far, far away have been finding on these various planets. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Force be with you.